couple days ago, someone messaged me on Discord saying that there was someone working on a research study about OC coaching, and I was like, "OMG, that sounds so interesting. Keep me posted on the results." And then, and then I saw this on Discord. um, so I'm very interested to respond to it. I feel like it's my sort of obligation. It's like it's scripted into the universe that I sort of make a public response and reading to these kinds of docs, mostly because I mean these kinds of perceptions of coaching happen in every community, um, except I think in gaming communities at least. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna try to. I haven't read through this doc yet. I saw it on Twitter and I was like, "Yep, okay, this is it." So this doc is 25 pages long. I'm gonna go through all of it in one straight go and sort of give my um, thoughts. I'll try to. I'm gonna read this with an open mind. I think first of all I'll say that I definitely understand the 80% screenshots. Okay, got it. Um, I'll say that I definitely understand the perspective that people have on coaching, especially given how long I've been in the OC community and how everyone in the community believes um, well, okay, first of all, I think the main argument that I see is that like OSU is not that complicated of a game compared to other games, which is true. So for most other like esports or things like that, or even sports in general, there's a micro element, which is basically your core, like your game mechanics, and then there's macro, which is decision making. But in OSU, there's no decision making, and so in that sense, it's a lot more complex, or a lot less complex in OSU. Um, Yo, what's up, Willie? This doc is unhinged. Let's go. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna read this with an open mind and sort of understanding. I'm not quite trying to defend coaching here. I'm just sort of trying to give my opinion as the main target of discussion regarding coaching. So, um, yes, here it goes. I'm probably not gonna read everything out loud. I'll probably like read it all in my head, and then if there's anything I want to pinpoint, then I'll read it out, like reread it out loud. Respect the person that wrote this document. Yeah, I think I mean they seem like they're trying to get a pretty like objective picture. I think I saw one screenshot so far and I think they DM'd someone who had gotten a coaching session. Um Less biased than usual. Oh really? Okay. Um okay, I don't understand the context of this image cuz the screenshots are all blurred out. Okay, so this person described I've been training consistency on low to mid 5 stars. Um, okay. Grinding for FCs, shredding like I usually do. Um, okay, consistency improved, but can't play as high of a star rating as I used to. I played high stars while training consistency. Ah, interesting. Okay. It's actually not. Okay, let's go. Um, wait, what happened? Did I miss a message? If coaching had no benefits, why do sports teams spend money on them? I think the um what's the word? The sort of context behind sports and things like that. Yo, what's up, Gerbsy? Yeah, I'm not here to defend myself. I think I should try to make that very clear. I'm here to give my thoughts on this document and sort of react to it live as the main person who's mentioned when it comes to OC coaching. So, and also I'll say I usually never respond to coaching posts because they happen all the time. Um, but I feel like if someone puts in the effort to make a document like this, and I think they kind of deserve at least my sort of thoughts on everything. So yeah, I'll try to go through everything. Hopefully it won't take too long, although I say that and I haven't started yet. But um, okay, so formatting might be weird. Okay. Um, okay, part one, OSU coaching is a scam. Can you guys read properly by the way? Let me zoom in a little bit. Um, okay, that should be fine. Coaching season many games and show how they can improve. Uh, in order to mechanically get better. Um, while there are some techniques that players should be implementing that are covered through some improvement videos, many of the coaching sessions offered by OC Uni, Fiverr, and other services are useless. Okay. Um, strong statement, although you guys are saying that I mean, I expect that there's like thorough um basis to everything that this person is saying. Um, so yeah, let's see. Players are paying upwards of $50 an hour. Um, oh yeah, wait, this is exactly what I was talking about. Sorry, I just skimmed because I saw my username. Digital Hypno and the like. Um, okay, anyway. Receive the same advice that they would learn through other videos that already exist, even posted by the same. Yeah, I was about to say this. Okay, so let me pause and sort of give a little bit of context, or like sort of thoughts on this so far. I think as I go through the doc, I'll hopefully have less time, so I just need to pause and give clarification on things, or just sort of my thoughts in general. So yes, I'm 1000% aware that like, when people mention that like there's already enough like free resources of like improvement advice, um, that you can just like sort of watch, um, instead of needing to go pay for coaching. Um, a lot of those videos that people are talking about are actually made by me, so that's also definitely something that I'm aware of. And I'm not saying that to sort of defend the fact that I do coaching. I'm just sort of saying it as an objective statement. Um, but yeah, I mean, one thing I'll sort of say this as a sort of like general statement. I think like the point of coaching is not necessarily that you're paying for the information. You're paying for someone's time to like sort of wrap that information into a package that's most applicable to you, and sort of, and on top of that, paying for um the attention of someone who is much more experienced at what they're coaching you at, than you, to look into your gameplay as someone who was sort of once in your shoes, um, and have that sort of perspective and analysis, and especially just having an outside perspective in general, is I think something that people value. Um, there's something else I was gonna say. Um, okay, I'll remember later probably. Um, but oh, that's right. So I also completely agree that like, okay, so two things. One is that you can get all the information, most likely pretty much everything that you could learn in coaching, you can learn from outside resources, and or just sort of experimenting and figuring out like yourself, which is what pretty much everyone has done up until recently when OSU coaching started to kind of become more of a thing. Um, you can get all that information out there. But OSU coaching is never really designed to, or coaching in general isn't designed to give you, or how do I put this? You're you can learn all the information, but coaching is designed for you to sort of get there a little faster. Um, so it's sort of a time speed up. Like you're paying to, like, in exchange for the time that you would have spent experimenting yourself and sort of see what someone has to say about your situation and things like that. Um, so um, yeah, I said there was two things, but I forgot the other one, so I'm just gonna keep reading. um, okay, the reason that many players continue to purchase coaching from Digital Hypno and the like is that many problems per player are subjective. By subjective, do they mean like individualized or like unique kind of? Um, if problems are subjective, wouldn't coaching work? Not for OSU. The main reason that OSU coaching was started is because players were tired of the classic advice of play more. What coaching has done instead of giving new players legitimate advice is started a paywalled advice factory where coaches continue to give new players the same advice in more convoluted ways. There are no special practice methods that can exclusively be taught through coaching. Players will go to coaches complaining about not being able to stream or their aim being really slow. I'm not sure if I've ever had someone come for aim being slow. Although people do come talking about streams. Anyway, these coaches will simply give players practice maps that strain their skill set to their limits, and then tell them to practice for a certain amount of time every day. This practice method, repetition, i.e. playing more. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading for a little bit. I'll try to not stop at every point and give my thoughts. I'll sort of like try to get an understanding and then sort of try to keep going back to thoughts. To stuff that's here. Coaching isn't just giving advice. Oh, okay. However, I don't want to completely discount coaching. Certain tapping techniques are bad for wrists and hands, can be solved by coaches taking a look at players' hand cams and identifying what they're doing wrong versus what techniques they can use instead in order to solve those problems. This does happen in some coaching sessions. For example, a user named Zaro, I think I coached this person, wrote about having a hand cam to analyze form. So there must be some sort of technique fixing going on here, which is definitely positive. Yeah. We definitely recommend people have hand cams, specifically if you're coming to coaching for some sort of technique related thing, either tapping or grip or something like that. Then yeah, I usually highly recommend you have a hand cam. If someone doesn't have a hand cam, then I'll ask you to just sort of take a picture or record a video with your phone, something like that. Unrelated, but during a session once recently, I asked someone if they had a camera and they said no, or if they had a webcam, and they said no, but they could like take a picture with their phone. But then they mentioned, I've been thinking of getting a webcam though, because it sounds funny. They were talking about how like webcam mic sounds really bad. And so they were considering getting a webcam just for like the low quality microphone, which I thought was so funny. Yeah, anyway, let's see. Reading the reviews channel in OC Uni highlights some players who have posted positive and only positive reviews of coaching. Oh yeah, this is an interesting point too. I feel like there's a big divide between people who talk about / criticize coaching and people that have actually gotten coaching. I've yet to have someone. Okay, two things. One, I've yet to have someone. How do I put this? Oh, okay. I've yet to have someone sort of come to coaching and like not really expect it to work, which I think makes sense, and could be partly due to the price tag, making it like not seem worth it for people if they don't think that it'll actually help them, which sort of like deters some people away from coaching in general, or not in general, but like deters some people from like sort of absent with kind of without a second thought, just sort of like buying a $15 or $20 coaching session, or even like $10 ish. Like if it feels like it's more reasonable, or reasonable in air quotes. I can talk about the reason why the price tag is the way that it is in a little bit, which is actually not that complicated. But yeah, it sort of prevents people from just kind of paying a small amount, and sort of like the price tag gets you to think about like if it's actually something that you want, and sort of like people that are kind of on the fence will either like double down and really try to commit to improving and sort of use the session as motivation, along with obviously the advice that you get. But a lot of people may sort of like take that to instead just kind of go back to the drawing board kind of, and keep experimenting with things. Free content, yeah, true. Yeah, what I was gonna say is I've never, okay, so basically how, at least how I do it, which is I think at least half of the reviews in the channel in OC Uni are my sessions, or around half. So how I do it is at the end of each session, I give people the session recording link, which is a private video, and then I give them a referral code that they can send to someone else. It used to work a little differently before we switched to Medify, but basically it's 20% off, one-time use, and does not expire. So I send them those two, and then I also give them the role to send messages in the reviews channel in OC University. That channel is role locked, so you need to have done a session in order to type there, obviously. And so how I describe it, I usually describe it the same way every time, because it's sort of wrap up, like not, this is not individualized advice. This is just me explaining like this sort of platform and review channel. So what I say is that like I've given you the review channel, the review role to send messages in. Oh wait, okay, sorry. I like trying to play it through in my head. I've given you the role to send messages in the reviews channel in OC University. We're not going to take the role away from you, so there's no rush or pressure to write something if you want to at all, but that is there for you. And then also I'll give you your referral code, and then blah, 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 and talk about the referral code. That's pretty much all I say about the reviews channel. I don't ask for positive reviews or anything like that, and I also don't ask people to even review at all. I just sort of mention that it's there. Um, so yeah, just in case you're curious about at least how I do that. I don't know how. I think Fancy Lad is probably the other main person who has a lot of reviews in that channel. I don't know quite how he describes the channel, but yeah, that's basically word for word how I say it to every single person. Um, okay, let's see. Is there anything I was gonna say around here? Okay, maybe I should just stop every time I think of something instead of trying to go back to it. Um, okay, I don't really think so. Well, what coaching is done instead of giving new players legitimate advice is sort of paywall advice factory. Oh, this is creative wording. I actually like this. um, where coaches continue to give new players the same advice in more convoluted ways. I feel like I should also break down like usually the structure of a session, which I'm not sure if it's covered later. It probably is because I've broken it down both in my Medify FAQ, which is relatively new still, um, but also in the coaching questions channel in OC University. I've sort of broken down like the general blueprint of the session. So personally, my sessions, and Fainsled does this a little differently, and other coaches do it differently as well. But at the for me personally, how I do my sessions is before the session starts, I'll ask you to prepare a couple replays of yours that you feel like are representative of where you currently are as a player and or the skill sets that you want to work on. And then we watch through those at the start of the session. And during that period, we also talk about their history as a player and also more importantly, their goals as a player. And then as I'm watching the replay, I also ask just sort of some basic outline of their sort of like their play style and sort of how they would rate their current skill set, like from their own perspective. So like tablet area, hover or drag, index ring or index middle, and like sort of like their general tapping style, as in like full alt or single tap, and like if they have a preference to a certain finger, just sort of like a like demographics kind of introduction, like initial understanding of them as a player, and then watch a couple of their replays as well. And during that, sort of try asking specific questions and or like pointing out things that I'm noticing and sort of allowing them to elaborate to give me a better understanding of their skill set overall and what they're comfortable with and uncomfortable with as a player. The first like 20 to 30-ish minutes is usually spent trying to get like a really deep understanding of where they are as a player and like what could be sort of preventing them from what they want to get better at. So yeah, and then from there, after we sort of get that understanding, then I sort of not really make a list of, but and if you've seen, I've uploaded some of my coaching sessions on my YouTube channel. So you can find some recordings, some public recordings of my sessions there. But I usually have a notepad file. Actually, I always have a notepad file where I take notes for the other person. And I basically sort of outline like different categories of, or sort of aspects of the game that I might want to talk about. Sort of, sometimes it's more like sort of explaining how different skill sets work, and like specifically applying it to them and like emphasizing like what parts of that explanation are going to be relevant to them. And from there, I usually end with some sort of like blueprint of how they can go about doing their sessions and like sort of a priority list of what skill sets they might want to be focusing on. This is not 100% of my sessions end up like this, but most of them are usually like that. Where like based on sort of what I've noticed and their goals, I sort of make a list of like what I feel like they should focus on the most based on where they currently are and where they want to get to, i.e. their goals as a player. So yeah, a lot of it is like just trying to understand them as a player from an outside perspective, and use that information to sort of suggest what exactly they should focus on. And then I also sort of break down like usually at least like 2 or 3 different like strategies that you can use to tackle that specific skill set. So yeah, let's see here. Okay, let me drink some water and then read this bit. Yo, wait. Zara writes about how his galloping problem was fixed by digital hypno and learning how to stream through finger control maps. Okay, God mode. I actually didn't even know that. Usually, and this is probably something that I might want to do a little more, but I usually don't reach out to people after the session and sort of like ask for like an update or things like that. All right, wrap it up. No, the reason I sort of point that out, so let me actually go back to the original, go to the original tweet. This is the original tweet that, okay, that actually has a lot more retweets than I thought. But a lot of people, usually when they try to criticize sort of my validity as a coach, they tend to point out the fact that I even like the tweet. I thought it was so troll. Usually the main criticism that people point out is that I can't stream, which I think obviously is true. And I think on surface level, it obviously makes sense that you would think if someone can't stream, then they have no credentials to advise people on how to stream. But okay, so I'll sort of preface this. Actually, this is the main thing that I'm trying to say, is that like, I've heard Vaxe say after watching a couple of my videos that like the advice that I give around tapping and like tapping technique is like all very, very accurate. He was like, yeah, Habib like isn't actually a tapping player himself, but like definitely knows what he's talking about when it comes to like tapping technique and like what sort of makes a good tapping technique. And so yeah, I mean, I feel very comfortable, and also sort of as someone who has experimented with many different things, like I usually, if someone is talking about streams or tapping, I'm usually able to put myself in their shoes much more easily because I've sort of like experimented with many different, not really tapping styles. But yeah. I mean, I think, okay, as far as abuse speed, I can still kind of abuse speed, but okay, so basically, I could never really stream properly / smoothly in the past, but I could like pretend to make it look like I could stream through like 2016 through 2019 ish. I sort of like brute force stamina, but my like technique, there was like certain things about my technique that were like not sustainable. And then like throughout late 2020 to like honestly throughout a lot of 2021, I was like pretty inactive in the game, and so like my stamina skill cap gradually deteriorated, and so at a certain point, and that obviously like it made my technique issues show a lot more. And then I was like, I'm just gonna like relearn tapping and like try to, I don't know, tap properly, question mark. So yeah, that's actually been going kind of nicely. But I'm obviously not there yet. But hey, Kablaze, thanks for the raid. I'm giving my fun little opinion on this doc because this person put a good amount of effort into it, and I feel like they deserve hearing my thoughts. So I'm sort of reacting to it and like every now and then stopping to like explain stuff. Coach you? Can you coach me on Taiko? But yeah, so I mean, I've yet to have people criticize the advice that I give on streams, other than the fact that they say that I can't stream myself, which I'm waiting for the day that I can like start setting streams like reasonable stream scores so that like people stop using that as like a blanket excuse to criticize my tapping advice, and like not really because I don't want them to criticize me, but I want them to actually tell me what's wrong with the advice that I'm giving so that I can sort of fix it. Because clearly if I'm giving bad advice, then like they should tell me what to say instead, which has actually happened in the past, around like a little over a year ago. I won't go into this too much, but I like my perspective of like a certain method that you could use to train tapping was like kind of off or like not grounded very well. And so I made like a sort of public post, sort of talking about that method. And then like a couple people were like, dude, this is like not it. And then I think Matrix talked to me about how like that it like didn't make any sense, and I sort of like had him tell me like what to say instead. And so I like deleted the post and basically made it again based on the feedback. But I think that's the only time I really remember people like really saying that like the advice that I was giving on something wasn't very good. Um, but yeah. Okay. Anyway, other than that, let me read this screenshot. Um, how hypnosis coaching and other OC coaches help players and the impact coaching has on play style. Care to share a few words about what specific advice Habib gave that helped you and what you've changed about your old play style to improve? Okay, let's see. Why are people freaking out? Because um, there's this like pseudo belief in the OC community that the game is too simple for coaching to be necessary, and that either you can just figure everything out yourself, which technically is true, or you can go like find all the information yourself, um, which also is true to an extent. But obviously, that's not really the point of coaching. Um, but yeah, the top 100 player in the doc. Oh shoot. Okay, let's see here. Um, okay, best thing I can really say is he pointed out a lot of the spots that bottleneck my overall performance. I had a slight galloping problem when learning how to stream. He introduced me to a lot of finger control maps, what maps to look for / how to look for them. Oh yes, yes. I also try to make people as self-sufficient as possible. Dude, just hit the ball with the bat. Dude, the ball is literally there. I would just hit bat and ball. It's literally, and then just run. Holy crap. Oh my god, guys, we solved baseball. Specifically for me, he showed me lower BPM bursts and stream maps. It took over 6 to 7 months to see a difference, but his advice affected my current tapping form, which makes streaming much easier to pick up. Okay, I see. Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, I sort of like skimmed through it, but let me like read through it more specifically. Posted a text document that Habib wrote detailing. Oh yeah, the text doc. Oh, I just downloaded. Are you kidding me? Okay, whatever. So what did I do? Well, actually, what did I do? I don't remember. Um, some level of spite. Hold on, let me grab this. Let me put this on the screen and sort of go through what they said, or like, yeah, what's in this notepad. Mm, okay. Wow. Okay, hold on. Let me use this instead because it's way easier to read. Oh. Okay, let's go with the notepad. Um, looking for something to be mad about. I'll also, let me clarify again. I said this at the start, but like, I'm not necessarily trying to defend myself. And 99% of the time I don't respond to these, but I feel like I feel like I probably should. Just because I think this person put a lot of effort into it, and I think at some point there should be a sort of public way to sort of see what my thoughts are in like a lot of detail, since this has kind of been a topic for a long time. Okay, let's see here. So what did I do exactly? Let's see. What possibly happened here? Okay. So I started with, okay, so at the start, so I have their username, their rank at the time, and then the date. And then this is the specific message that they wrote when they signed up. So this is their text. And then there's a dash line. So yeah, finger control, and they describe a little bit about that, and then motivation. Honestly, this is like an ideal like description to put when you sign up for a session IMO. Um, they're expecting too much from coaching. Yeah. I feel like coaching is not what a lot of people think it is. Um, where people think it's supposed to be like, I fix you for you. Um, but it's more like I sit with you and work through where your current situation is and help give you the tools. Like more specifically, I hand you the tools that I think would work best for you given your current situation and where you want to go. Um, but yeah, okay. So here I wrote some basic description of them as a player. So here, so one question that I always ask is, oh yeah, motivation is also a huge thing for coaching. I'll say that as well. Um, so I always ask, between aim tapping and reading, which one do you feel the most comfortable with? And then they, for example, I think in this case they said aim. OMG, coaching drama. um, so after they answer that, then I ask, um, if if that skill, so if aim is your 10 out of 10 skill for you relative to the other skills, then on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your reading and tapping? If like 1 is like really, really bad and 10 is like the same equal level to your aim. Just to sort of get us more like quantifiable feeling for how they feel overall. And so obviously there's like super, super broad categories, like reading could be high AR or low AR, tapping could be stamina or finger control or accuracy or anything like that. And so this is a very like general, like top level sort of understanding or like sort of start to them describing their skill set. And then after they give those numbers, we might talk about like specifically what aspects of tapping they might feel more or less comfortable at, something like that. So yeah, then here, these are like my notes that I was sort of noting down when I watched the replays, which is not everything that I said, obviously, but I sort of noted down the most important things. Um, so let's see here. And then I sort of talked about, so this is more of a like mindset perspective to like skill cap pushing, basically. Um, let's see. So this is essentially like, I mean, you can sort of read it yourself. Um, but basically, if in so your brain is sort of there to make you comfortable. And so if you're putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation, either like pushing your limits on OSU or as a more general example, like exercise, for example, um, if you're putting yourself in a situation that's uncomfortable, then your brain wants to get out of that as soon as possible. So the easy out is just to stop doing it. But the other out is like if your brain realizes that um, you are not going to be stopping doing that activity, then once you finish it and sort of rest, then your brain is like, okay, whatever situation we were just in, like we really don't want to we don't want to be that uncomfortable again. And so we're going to spend our precious resources making that aspect of ourselves better, basically. And so that's sort of what I described here and sort of a somewhat like neurological slash like mental aspect of like how exactly improvement works. Um, and then I sort of talked about specific like specifically in their case, switching or like practicing single tapping with their other finger to sort of get comfortable with like the opposite direction, basically. And then I mentioned like specifically how like so usually when I mention flamingo method, I describe it as like a very isolated form of focusing on specifically that skill. Um, and like it's there for you to use if you want, but it's mostly for finger control. And I said this in OCPHD as well, where like basically any map can be a finger control just based on how you're tapping it. So yeah, I also basically just mentioned that like for them specifically, they should just map, or they should just do it on every map. Map mindset coaching. Oh shoot, true. Hey Scub. Um, so yeah, let's see. And then I sort of talked about like specifically how you can find new maps and sort of um, aggregating the Maple databases for them, which the 2021 one didn't exist at the time. And then this is sort of a blueprint that I usually give people at the end of sessions for like focus practice sessions, um, where usually what I describe is like you should, first of all, if you're going to be pushing your limits, then definitely start your session with some sort of stretching, just to sort of strengthen your hands and make sure you are more able to like prevent injury, basically. So basically, what I say is like at the start of your session, okay, so you sort of want to balance training fundamentals and training your mechanics / skill cap. And so I think incorporating fundamental training into your warm up is a really good way to sort of strike that balance. It's very similar to like in instruments like piano, for example, people warm up with scales, even though no song is actually just scales. But it's sort of like it's getting your fingers warmed up in a sense and sort of just getting you tapping or pressing the keys. But in another sense, it's also getting you to continue grinding scales, which is something that's a super important fundamental for just sort of understanding or playing piano better in general. But also, while you're playing those scales, since chances are you've memorized them if you've been playing for long enough, then you can focus less on the sort of complexity of what you're playing and more on like the way that your fingers are moving, which can also really help with technique and sort of again warming up your fingers as well. So I think the same sort of concepts apply to OSU, and obviously it applies to a lot of different stuff as well. But where if you sort of warm up with fundamentals, I think it sort of gives the same type of balance, if that makes sense, between training those fundamentals and warming up your hands, and also like sort of warming up in a way where you can sort of isolate specific skills that will sort of strengthen your base or like skill floor as a player. And so I sort of broke down like different fundamental training things that you could use for like different skills. And so specifically, I sort of tried to, I guess, cater or sort of like specify when I thought this person should do a specific thing. My throat is going to be so dry by the end of this. Hold on. I think towards hopefully the quarter of the document, I'll be able to speed through it a little bit after touching on most sort of overall things. But yeah, sort of trying to specify like specifically when I think that this person should focus on a specific technique or training method that I'm giving them. But I sort of try to give them, if I'm like giving them different training methods, and I usually try to give them some even if they don't quite apply to them now. Just so that in the future, if they feel like they ever do want to focus on that skill, then like they sort of know my thoughts already on like what aspects of play I usually think are most, or like what methods you can use or strategies you can use to focus on those skill sets. So after you warm up with fundamentals, you've sort of like gotten your hands adapted to the game, loosened up a little bit, and also you've sort of gotten that fundamental training done for the session. And so you can then basically just fill in the rest of your time. Your thoughts on reading the talk. Let's go, Fluzzin. You can fill in the rest of your session on basically skill cap pushing for whatever skills you want to focus on. This is like a very, not really basic, but like very flexible blueprint of practice session. And then obviously everyone has different philosophies when it comes to obviously improvement in general, but even warm up. A lot of people sort of think differently about like what you should do or shouldn't do for warm up. Not really shouldn't do, but yeah, anyway. And then I think sort of like optionally, you can wrap up your session with fundamentals again. I think KHC kind of mentions a similar concept in his KHC method, where it's just like at the start of your session, do 3 runs of long stream, and then at the end, do 3 runs as well. Is sort of the gist of it, I think. Which then again, you can say KHC method is literally just play more. It's like literally just play the maps. Flamingo method, I might have a command. Yeah, I do. Okay, let's go. It might be cough drop time. Hold on. Let's see. I'm gonna grab a cough drop. Hopefully it'll get my throat through this. Hold on. Wait. My bag is downstairs. Okay, I have other cough drops here, but they don't work as well. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna be right back and grab cough drops. Okay, let's go. Oh shoot. Oh yeah, I was gonna explain like how the pricing came to be. Hold on, let me grab a cough drop and then explain it. You might hear mouth clicking from me having the cough drop. Um I will explain the story of here, let me turn off the BRB. I will explain the story of the the pricing, which is actually a really simple backstory. It's really not complicated. Um oh no, it's doomed for me. Hey, Shike Sora in chat, by the way, is another person who does Uzi coaching very actively. In my experience, other people put it, not myself. The more demand I have, the more expensive it gets. So the story for me with my pricing and sort of how I started coaching in general. So in February 2021, someone who watched my streams often DM me on Discord randomly and was like, "Will you coach me on Osu for $40 an hour?" $40 an hour. And I was like, "What?" First of all, that's a lot of money, and second of all, I didn't even know what that entails. But if you really want me to, then I guess I can try. Um, and so that was literally someone came to me and was like, "I will give you $40 an hour to coach me on Osu." And so I was like, okay, I guess." Um, and so I did that, and then I don't quite remember how that session went necessarily. But yeah, I think like he specifically wanted like a lot of specific maps to practice. So I sort of like went around like looking for maps and obviously like sort of analyze his skill set a little bit. And so around the same time on my streams, I was doing these um like um extended profile reviews where I would do a raffle on stream, and then whoever won the raffle, instead of just looking at your profile, I would ask you for a couple of replays of yours, and I would actually watch your gameplay, or I would like go through your top plays, I think, and grab some replays, and I would watch a couple of replays of yours and talk to you through Twitch chat to sort of discuss a bit more about your skill set. So it's basically like scuffed coaching and kind of like free coaching raffles where I would like sort of break down your skill set and sort of talk a little bit about like what I feel like you could improve at. I think I called them player analysis. And then I would upload those VODs or like those recordings to YouTube. I think towards the later ones, I started getting in a call with the other person, and sort of like maybe if they had hand cam or something like that, we could break down what exactly is happening. And then so those two. So the person who reached out for like $40 an hour coaching, and then also those like player analysis things, raffles. Those kind of happened around the same time, and then some people. Basically, like long story short, I was basically like, if you want me to do that same kind of like player analysis / like getting in a call with you, then I can do it as like an actual sort of coaching session. And then I just took the same price that the other person offered me before, which was $40 an hour. Um, which I was like, I wasn't quite sure how many people would actually do it, and I also didn't want to get overwhelmed, because there was definitely a fair amount, not like an extreme amount, but a fair amount of people who would watch those videos. They would usually get like 1,000 to 5,000 views, um, which is enough for like a couple people to maybe be interested in that happening, or me doing that for them as well. So I started sort of announcing during those streams, which I would upload on YouTube, that I would do coaching for $40 an hour. And then I was basically like, if you're interested, then just DM me on Discord. And so a couple of people would start DMing me, and then eventually I was like, there was like enough demand for me to feel like I could justify just moving it up to 50 and sort of seeing if like basically if that would, first of all, if that would even change anything, but also like if that would sort of lower the demand a little bit. So I increased it to 50, and then that was basically it. It just kind of stayed at 50. But recently I switched to, we sort of, as OSU coaches in general, switched to a platform called Medify, where you can be a bit more like elaborate with the types of coaching that you offer. So for me, what I found is that I would usually always run over time, over like the 1 hour, which I would never charge the other person for going over time. Like usually if we went over the 60 hours or 60 minutes, then I usually just sort of consider on me. And it's sort of like I'm very aware of the time during the session, and I sort of know like around how much time it might take to do certain things or explain certain things. And so I sort of am consciously making the decision when I start to explain a certain topic that like I know it's going to make the session take over 1 hour. But I feel like this happens with every OSU coach, but it's just like I seriously don't mind taking like 30 or sometimes like 45 more minutes during that session to sort of like continue working with you and like explaining everything that you might want to know. But yeah, and also one thing is like it could have just been completely on me for being too slow to explain certain things. And so if we go over the 60 minutes and I feel like there's still a little more to explain, then like I'll just kind of keep talking, and I'll be like, yeah, I know we went over the 60 minutes, but like don't worry about it. Unless you have to go somewhere, but like we might just go a little bit over the time at no expense of your own, if that's okay. And then they're usually like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But yeah, I found that especially in like the last 2 or 3 weeks that like my sessions would always last around an hour and a half instead of 1 hour. So when I was setting up my Medify profile, which actually I can pull up and show you. Hold on. I can hide the notepad. Actually, I can just get rid of it now. Medify. Okay, so this is my Medify profile. I'll give a bit more context to this as well. But let's see here. Okay, so here, let me center this a little better. Okay, so welcome to Medify. This is my Medify profile. And oh, actually, you can also see this is the OSU coaching panel where you can see everyone who's on the platform as a coach already. Okay, so basically my point that I'm trying to make is like, okay, so returning students, I always felt pretty comfortable fitting everything that I wanted to talk about within an hour. Texas Streamer also uses it. Oh, really? Yeah, Medify is just the best platform for coaching, like by like bar none, for real. Okay, so since we switched to Medify, it was around the same time that I felt like I should probably make my offer an hour and a half instead of 1 hour. And then I made the rate not quite exactly the same. But I was like, if the rate's supposed to be 50 and I'm always going an hour and a half, then like I might as well have an option. I might as well sort of make that the default. That's like technically a little cheaper per hour, but sort of like makes me feel more comfortable with time. And sort of like fitting everything in, basically. Returning students is just the same as always. Um, okay, so this no one has actually bought yet. This one. This is sort of like I was trying to think of like shorter, like more specialized session types that I could offer that I felt pretty comfortable working with people on. Um, and so this is basically like, so a couple people, and the reason why I sort of came up with this idea is that a couple people have come to me during coaching sessions and like specifically wanted to work on like one or two maps or like a specific type of pattern that they were very mind blocked on. And I feel pretty comfortable talking about that stuff and like helping people work through that stuff. So I figured I would just put it as an offer on a Medify profile. But no one has gotten it thus far. I think it's been there for like a week or so. 8 days maybe. Okay, and then this training plan. So Medify has like basically like bundled sessions that are like themed around a certain thing. What happened to you with coaching? Wait, what? I have no idea. So this seems like a lot of fun. Obviously it's expensive, but every training plan is expensive on this platform. This is like literally the price of training plans because it's basically a pack of 5 sessions. So but basically this is like I'll basically like host a personalized tournament with you based on your skill set, and I'll sort of assign you specific map pools to practice. And then we'll play like in 4 consecutive weekends, we'll play 4 like scrim 1v1s on like 4 different pools that I assigned for you for each week. And then after the match, we'll sort of like go through the scores that you did. Or like how you felt during the match and like all that sort of stuff. So trying to sort of simulate it's like a combination of like simulating a real tournament and also sort of coaching you on how you performed as well. No one has gotten this yet either. It's also very new. But yeah, I mean, this seems like a lot of fun. Anyway. Okay. So, okay, let me bring back the notepad a little bit. Because, let's see. So, I mean, I think this summary is true, but it's obviously missing a couple things. Although I think the specific details that are left out in here aren't relevant to what this person is trying to say in their argument. So, not really a big deal. Again, I think I said this earlier, and I'll sort of say it again, that coaching is not really so it's not about giving you information that you can't get otherwise. It's about giving you information in a way that's personalized and it's sort of like a faster way to get that information in a way that's specifically personalized to you from someone who has the experience in that thing that you're trying to get better at and has most likely once been in your shoes as well. So results of individual coaching. Oh, research study. Let's go. That's awesome. Let me just skip to the results. Discussion. Is there like a wait? Where's the abstract? Independently performing exercises without being supported by coaches is not sufficient for high goal attainment. Moreover, mediation analyses show that coaches transformational and transactional leadership behavior influence participants' perceived autonomy, support, and intrinsic motivation, resulting in beneficial coaching outcomes. The results may guide the selection of okay, and then it just talks about applications. Okay, yeah, I mean, I think that's what a lot of people assume intuitively, where like coaching, if nothing else, is like very motivational. Or there's sort of like it sort of gives you more reasons to sort of push yourself harder. But yes, my final word of advice. Play more of the skills that you want to improve at. So wise. What a vocal. Oh, I remember this guy. I think he was focused on tapping as well. Wait, was it? No, I don't know. I shouldn't even try to guess because I'll just get them wrong. Yeah, I definitely remember this. Wait, it was this person who messaged me and was like, "Hey, wait, let me find our DM." I think. Wait, no, it wasn't. Oh, shoot. Yep. Okay, never mind. I literally don't remember. What's going on? I mean, basically, what's going on is people don't believe that. First of all, that coaching should exist in the first place in a game like Osu. But also, people don't believe that coaching should be nearly as expensive as what Osu coaches are charging for it. Opinions of people that don't need coaching. Oh, I think I haven't gotten there yet. Um, let's see. This is the same copy pasted message, and then most helpful advice was changing the gamma. Okay, let's see. Help me practice under harder conditions, made it easier for tournaments, even help me with easy. Did not know that gamma was a thing. Also gave me good single tap practice map, just practice single tapping. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, I remember that video, Dorian. Let's go. For his review on August 18th. Showed him very rudimentary things in order to improve. Good single tap practice map. Okay, I can pull up the notepad also for this person. Oh, these were all me. Oh, there's only one more after this. Let's see here. Well, I'm trying to like see if I should put this notepad on the screen. It's not about that I wouldn't want to show what I put, but it usually like the reason I keep the like sessions that I do private is because it's the other person that paid for it in the first place, and so I think they should have the control to put out the information that or sort of like put the information that they were given. I feel like I can try to summarize what. Well, actually, I think I can just put it up. It's not a big deal. I'll sort of go through it. Showed him very rudimentary. Okay, yeah, I want to know what exactly I focused on. Although usually like there's never a time during a session where like we're just not talking unless they're trying to set up a camera and like we've sort of touched on everything that we can up until that point. Or if they're like usually at the start of the session, if they're like looking for a specific replay or a map, and I've sort of asked them all the sort of basic questions already. So okay, let's see. What did I talk about? Let me open this. Okay, I can just copy it actually. Okay. Let's see. Okay, notepad. Okay, so this person, notepad was. This is a session that they. Oh, I remember this. So this person originally signed up to do a session with Apraxia, who doesn't do coaching anymore. But anyway, so Apraxia. So usually, how Apraxia sessions would go is he would give them a bunch of different maps to play live. Fainsalad also has people play maps live, which is why I was saying like not everyone does the thing that I do with like asking for replays. Although some definitely do it that way as well. I think Spaza definitely does it that way. Rectigon I know does it that way. But anyway, so basically this person was describing that hard rock is still their weak point. They did a session with Apraxia on stamina and speed. And started feeling more comfortable on it basically. So this is the note that Apraxia wrote for this person in their previous session. Let me like re-familiarize myself with this. Because they didn't know they were there. Okay, so basically, oh wait, what? Okay, because they didn't, because did he forget to finish this one or what? Is fairly confident on AR10 when playing hard rock. Aim goes more into snap mode. Okay, that makes sense. Much more secure. Okay, so basically hard rock is not comfortable, and then that's why they posted this. Let's see. Okay, so basically they talked about how they wanted to focus on hard rock, and specifically hard rock combined with bursts. I find it interesting how they mentioned, or sort of like not being comfortable with hard rock one small burst because they don't know that they're there, but also being confident on air 10. Doesn't add up to me reading this through now. So okay, so these were my notes at the start of my session with this person. Again, we talk about a lot more than I note down. I usually note down like reminders or memory cues for them to look back on. And then also I record the entire session for them to go back as well. So I usually don't worry too much about writing down everything. But yeah, let's see. Comfortable around low to mid 9 AR. So basically, after watching through a couple of replays and getting familiar with their skill set, I basically chose. So essentially, what I did is I chose hard rock / high AR and speed / stamina. A little bit apparently compared to hard rock, as like what I felt like this person should have the most information about. So I sort of broke down sort of high AR in general, where like there's a rhythm sense aspect to it, where like if you can just sort of feel out the rhythm and like expect a certain pattern to be there at a certain part of the map, that can help you read a little faster. And then also just sort of breaking down how essentially, okay, so high AR is one of those skills, and I say this during coaching sessions as well. High AR is one of those skills where you can. So most skills, I think, if you brute force, then it's going to depend a lot on like if you happen to pick up the right habits. But high AR is really one of those skills that's like probably the most brute forceable in the game, I would say. Which is not to say, and I sort of clarified this here as well. It has to be at least high enough that you can somewhat make out what's happening, but it's high enough still for you to be uncomfortable. And then here I basically said, for example, like you can't just brute force AR 11, but you can brute force your way up with like gradually increasing the AR. And then I don't know if I talked about this during the session, but if I was doing a session on this now, I would definitely add that like there's also somewhat a confidence aspect when it comes to high AR, where like if you're feeling scared of the fact that it's high AR, it sort of like clogs your focus a little bit. I don't know if I would word it that way, but like essentially it sort of clogs your focus, where like gets you to like you only have so much time when you're reading high AR. So like if you're able to just sort of like commit to reading as fast as you can, that's I think like a much more applicable type of advice than a lot of people might think. Just because like, especially if you're really struggling with high AR, usually whatever you're struggling with, you start to not feel as confident on. So, yeah. Top 100 players are varied with many players who are any players who are allowed to have their own opinion. Yeah, just because the top 100 doesn't make it hold more weight. Yeah, I agree as well. So I haven't read everything in chat because I think I would be up all night if I tried to respond to everything in chat right now. But if you guys have questions about specific things or you want to talk to me about any of this, then you're welcome to message me on Discord. I always respond to DMs. So yeah. So I touched about a little bit about sort of breaking down what goes into playing high AR. Oh wait, okay, I did write this down. Okay, I just didn't scroll down to it. So yeah, I also mentioned the kind of mental mindset side to AR. So this was about so they're specifically talking about hard rock, and so I was sort of talking about how like you don't want to cap yourself at AR 10 necessarily. You want to start playing like 10.1, 10.2, and like kind of going a little higher. And then I also talked about gamma, and I explained what gamma was because he didn't know what it was, which is mentioned here in the document. Didn't know gamma was a thing, which is why I like really broke it down for this person. But if they already knew what it was, then I would just be like, okay, yeah, I can also use gamma, and I would at least note it down as like a thing that helps with high AR. But yeah, Um. Okay, so high BPM. Okay, yeah, this is true. So like, if you're trying to push out a lot of speed, like past your sort of like um comfort limit, then you can like use a slightly different technique that is like not quite sustainable for like a death stream, but you can use it to squeeze out a bit more speed than you would be able to otherwise, basically. Um, is what I was saying here. Um, okay, here. And also, um, so people talk about what is, I mean, people have different like schools of thought about this, but basically I talked about how like um tapping ability is very related to technique as well, because it's like you can have the stamina, but if your technique is inefficient enough that like all your stamina drains in the first like 5 or 10 notes, then obviously you won't be able to stream no matter how much stamina you have. Um but yeah, and then I also touched on like specifically for training stamina, even though you're full alt, you might want to consider doing like single tap stamina practice um on both fingers, just to sort of push your stamina overall and like your finger speed basically. um these were all the notes for this session, but there was definitely obviously more that we talked about or sort of like broke down a bit more that maybe I just didn't note down on the notepad. But um yeah, so that sort of addition was sort of like extra information for like this specific player. um Widely known throughout the community. That is true, and I explained it to him because he didn't know what gamma was. I obviously mentioned it at first because I was like, by the way, you can also use gamma, which like you probably are familiar with, dot dot dot. And then I sort of like try to cue them to get to know if they actually are familiar with what I'm talking about, or if I would have to explain it. And obviously I would expect most people to know what gamma is, but then this person didn't, and then they happened to find that like that was like very helpful for them, so that's definitely good. But yeah, anyway. Okay, let's see. Mercy, I remember Mercy as well. I mean, obviously I pretty much remember most of these people because I coached them. But anyway, he had a lot to say. Oh wait, really now? Oh, it's not as much as I expected. Okay, let me put this in the notepad as well and go back to this. I'm like just really curious to go through everything that's here. So let's see. My goal is going to the session, practice schedule, finger control, flame cursor control, and streaming. VODs. Oh yes, some people use Twitch VODs instead of replays, which is equally okay. 3 more hours at least. Oh no, I'll try to speed up after like things start to be like less like I have specific references to pull up or like sort of receipts for what they're talking about, which is again not to try proving what's in this post, but just to sort of give extra information for all of you guys that are very curious. So looking for the aspects of play that mentioned needed practice, he was then able to break down exactly what was causing those issues through analyzing those replays. Additionally, he had me play a few maps that he personally selected in order to better gauge. Oh yeah, so sometimes I would say like 35-ish% of the time after watching your replays, I might have you try specific maps just to sort of gauge or sort of like test how you feel on certain maps. If I couldn't quite or if I still wanted to get a bit more information after watching your replays. So, or there's basically like to test specific things to know what to start talking about for the rest of the session. Yeah, once you figured out that the issue was primarily lack of control I had with my pen and tapping, prescribed a specific warm-up / routine. 1 to 2 map sets. Oh yeah, okay, this is something I suggest, but not to everyone, because obviously not everyone needs it. But yeah, starting from the bottom of a map set and just sort of playing through it. So yeah, let's see. Because this like touches on like all the sort of like difficulties between like under the like your current skill cap basically. So like on different specific star rating ranges, it sort of trains, or like you can do different things when training on that stuff or on those maps. So like on 1 to 2 stars, like since they're so simple, basically, you can use those maps to really like um, try to focus on specific fundamentals and specifically cursor control for this person, which is why I recommended the specific um, like sort of routine for like as warm up. So on the 1 to 2 stars, yeah. So like since you're gonna be playing those maps, um, you might as well try using auto method on those maps if you can. Which auto method is basically like a coined term by me for like using very low star maps to isolate specific fundamental skills that are usually really hard to isolate otherwise. Mostly things like cursor control and like raw flow aim without any tapping requirement. Um, and focus as well, I think are the biggest things that auto method really helps isolate. Um, so, and obviously I'll clarify because I feel like I should clarify this, that there are other ways to train fundamentals other than just auto method. But personally, I find that auto method is something that has helped me a lot, obviously, which is why I suggest it to other people because that's the sort of practice method that I feel has helped me the most over like, I think I basically started doing it in like 2016 actively. And I found that like whenever I would warm up that way specifically, I would have by far my best sessions. And I also just sort of found that it in general improved my stability and fundamentals and things like that. So yeah, for all those reasons, that's usually why I suggest that method because I think it works super well. Auto method plus map set from bottom to top. Oh, Joel also mentions auto method. Okay, that's good to know. I didn't actually know that. I've never quite communicated with other coaches on like specifically what they talk about in their sessions, just because like I feel like there's no real need to. But yeah, let's see here. So specifically toning to hone in on the mid to high 3-star range. Yeah, exactly. I think if you're lacking control specifically with like controlling like coordinating your tapping and aim, then like mid to high 3 stars is really, really, really helpful. Not really auto method. Oh, okay, I see. Um, okay, that makes a little more sense. On top of these, Habib gave me a large amount of resources to find maps best suited for my improvement. Pointed out that I needed to really concentrate on the aim aspect of the stream. In order to work on this, I was to really focus on the aim, not really to worry too much about the tapping. Okay. And now, method of coaching. Let's see how accurate or sort of similar this is to what I was talking about. You're entitled to my time. Yeah, Fancy, can you just like get in a call with me? I've been really struggling with everything. Yeah, I need you to like stop literally everything that you could be doing that's more important um for your social life or school life or wait, did you say you're in college? I mean, maybe you can drop out and like just kind of help me out a little bit. For free, by the way. Just sort of, I mean, like if I want a piece of art from my friend, I mean they can just draw it for me. Like they're good at drawing, so like why can they not just like do it for me? Nothing in my life besides Osu. So true. Yeah, what's up, Joel? Since you're here, I'll just sort of explain briefly that I'm basically just going through this doc. I don't know if you saw it or not. But someone like sort of did a deep dive into Osu coaching, and I'm not really trying to dispel anything. I'm just sort of giving my thoughts on everything, since I usually never elaborate on my thoughts when people bring up Osu coaching in the community. But like this person put in a lot of effort clearly, and so I feel like they deserve some sort of like my own sort of reaction to the information, and I'm sort of trying to also elaborate and sort of again, I'm not really trying to dispel everything or like argue against what they're saying. I'm sort of like reading it and discussing it with an open mind, essentially, and sort of elaborating when I feel necessary. Oh wait, symbiotic, what's up? So someone mentioned me. Wait, made this document. Yeah. I'm familiar. Um, symbiotic, yo, let's go. Wait, there's 100 people. OMG, what's up, y'all? Okay. Anyway, yeah, what's up? Okay, let me finish going through this. So okay, hopefully symbiotic also heard the explanation that I just gave. Okay, so a little bit earlier, I sort of just described like a basic blueprint of how my sessions go, which I've also typed in the OC University coaching questions channel. But let's see, starts by analyzing your weaknesses through replays and oral communication. Yes, that is definitely correct. Test maps. Yes, I do this maybe 35 to 40% of the time. Is I'll give you some, like, if I don't feel like I got a super clear picture from the replays, or if there's specific things that I'm still curious about, then I will go, or I will like give you specific maps to try playing. Um, yeah. Begins to find the utmost fundamental issue pertaining to your weakness. Yeah, this is true. I think using with the word fundamental here could be a little confusing. I don't think they're really talking about like a fundamental skill necessarily, just sort of like the root cause that is actually causing your weakness, which sometimes, and there are definitely people who come to coaching and like they all their fundamentals are like super like majority of the time. Okay, so as a brief sort of explanation, I would say like 99 or maybe just 90% of the time when someone is skill capped or like at a skill wall that they really can't get past, it's usually because there's some like fundamental skill that's kind of holding them back and it's like too hard for them to notice basically. And so like when they try skill cap pushing, they basically like don't have a solid enough foundation to build up that skill, and so they sort of hit this wall basically. Um, but there's also definitely sometimes players who have all the fundamentals in a really good spot and just sort of like are too afraid to push skill cap for whatever reason. Well, I mean, it could be anything, but therefore they will improve by not thinking. That is true. So wise. But yeah, anyway, prescribes a fundamental practice related to whatever issue you may have. Yes. Which I would say like 1% of the, or not even 1% of the time. Sometimes I tell that person that like they literally just need to like start pushing harder maps, and I sort of like I obviously go into more detail, but sometimes it's not always about like a fundamental deficit. Ideas to build your own routine. Okay, yes, that too as well. Yeah, I try to be very like allowing the other person to be self-sufficient by the time they leave the session, so that like they don't have to come back unless they really feel that like they want to. Solid degree of success. I haven't played too much of OC since that session. The sessions I have had felt instantly productive and I found much better control. Oh, let's go. Yeah, again, usually I don't quite get feedback from the people after they actually do the session. So this is actually cool to read. Awesome. Not everyone is talented. That is also definitely true. That is true. Let's see here. Okay, so if you don't wish to the document, receive some coaching that led to a solid degree of success. Not quite sure what control is. Me neither, but what I suspect, let me pull up the notepad. It was probably like just sort of coordination overall. Let's see here. Okay, this talk was relatively long. Okay, I'll pull this up, but I'll like just skim through it briefly so we don't take too much time on this on this notepad. So, notepad. This was my doc with this person. So, yeah. So this is the note that they wrote when they signed up. Wait, let me read what Nancy said. People who are talented and people who learn these skills intuitively don't understand. Yeah, that also is a very good way to put it. Okay, so observations sort of overall. They describe their tapping as a 1 out of 10, with 10 out of 10 being the same ability as their aim. Okay, started playing with mostly farm, got AR 10 pills really fast. And if they start at a higher AR, then it's hard to go back down for them, which is this is sort of the notes that I took at the start of the session. Not comfortable knowing how many times to tap or how fast to tap. Flow aim messes up on the second. Oh yeah, so this is like after analyzing the replays, I noticed that like they would mess up their flow aim on the second note often. I sort of broke down like different aspects that go into streams. Let's see. So, oh yeah, so basically what I was saying here is there's a tapping aspect, there's a reading aspect, and there's an aim aspect in streams, which is why it's like really hard to actually pinpoint what exactly could be causing your issue on streams. Also, arguably, there's like a mental aspect where like you might just kind of get overwhelmed or panic, which can also cause like it sort of leads to poor technique, basically. Anyway, also yeah, their index would lock much more than their middle, which makes sense because they're single tapping with middle. Okay. Um, so I talked about like synchronizing your aim and tapping basically, and sort of like um, I guess connecting that with low AR. Um, oh yeah, so I sort of talked about how like I feel like AR 8 at 4-star is actually much more overwhelming to get into than like whatever 2 stars are basically. So that's sort of what I think, and you guys can sort of give your own opinion as well since you're all here. Um, but I feel like if you're trying to like really build from the ground up on for like getting a really solid foundation on low AR, and like especially if you're AR 10 pilled, then like I feel like just getting comfortable with like basic patterns for now is going to develop that foundation for you much more easily than just sort of being like, okay, I go AR 9 to AR 8 to AR 7, because usually those maps are actually really, really hard if your reading is not that good. And sort of focused on like 3 stars as well, which we kind of talked about as well, or he wrote about there as well in his document. Oh yeah, so like going through a couple of full spread map sets. Oh yeah, okay. So specifically, why I mentioned this for this person is because they there was like aim tapping sync issues, but there was also like sort of a low AR foundation that needed to be built as someone who like got really AR 10 pilled, which I sort of wrote at the top here. Started with PP farm and just got AR 10 pilled really fast. And so also specifically, they talked about how their goal is to be able to play 8 stars and higher, which like obviously there's a lot of skill cap grinding involved in that. You really want a solid basis to build up from, at least to build it up a little bit so that it's not completely bottlenecking you. So I mentioned that, and then I sort of described auto method, which is basically like if when you're playing the lowest star diffs, you might as well do something that really isolates a certain fundamental, which is essentially what auto method is. So here I sort of broke down like what so yes, sometimes I write like for you specifically what this probably comes down to, like blah blah blah, right? So I sort of break like apply it specifically to them. Um, and so I mentioned a couple of stream mappers that came to my mind, but also I linked them the Maple databases somewhere apparently. Oh, maybe I think I just linked them through Discord. I probably didn't put it in the notepad because it's not convenient to grab those links. But yeah, and then I sort of spelled out a blueprint for them where like basically the same sort of blueprint. And I usually always do this at the end where I sort of spell out a blueprint where like it's sort of like do some sort of hand exercise. And then like fundamental practice as warm up, which I was talking about earlier. And then like after you feel warmed up, then you sort of push your skill cap on whatever you want to work on. So yeah, and I also so I was talking about how like they need to build a fundamental base, but I also like tried to emphasize that like you don't want to neglect skill cap for too long. Obviously. For I mean obvious reasons, because then you're just gonna get like kind of the opposite problem eventually if you just never focus on skill cap. As a side note slash kind of similar note, usually the reason why I emphasize fundamentals a lot more. Yo, Henry, what's up? Why I emphasize fundamentals a lot more is that like that's usually what gets neglected the most. By default, a lot of players will just naturally want to continue pushing their skill cap. And so if I sort of emphasize a little bit of fundamental practice as well, then that usually gets them a pretty good balance and sort of helps them balance out their like what is it, like balance out their skill set overall. Let me read chat a little bit. I'm trying to read Symbiotics messages because they're the one who actually wrote this doc. Damien about a negative experience. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean it's also hard because like I'm not against like I won't be offended or sad if someone gives me or if someone feels like they didn't have a good experience. But I think like a lot of people would basically be too afraid to give negative like thoughts, which is another reason why like if you're gonna make a doc that's sort of this comprehensive, then like I'm very interested in sort of seeing it to see what things I can sort of improve, obviously. So let's see. Um, yeah, that's true. It's also not necessarily on us, but I mean, um, oh, that too. Um, yeah. Oh, also, Fancy, since you're here, I don't, um, I don't know. So earlier I was talking about like how, like at the end of the sessions, like how I describe the reviews channel to people, which is basically, um, while I'm giving them the referral code, I also just say I give them the role to send messages in the reviews channel, and it's like we're not going to take the role away from you, so like it's there for you if you want to, um, or like I say like no pressure to write anything if you want to at all, but that's there for you, and then that's all I say, and I move on. Um, you do the same, okay, yeah. So I just wanted to like somewhat emphasize that like I don't, first of all, even ask for reviews. I just sort of mention that it's there, but also I especially don't ask people to write anything positive. Um, I just sort of tell them like, you know, you can write a review. And like most people have already seen that channel by the time they get a session, so it's just like, yeah, there you go. Basically, is all I say. Um, yeah, let's see here. Not a single negative review. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, if there was a 1 through 5 star thing, um, then oh, that's true. When you sign up, you sort of have, well, actually on Medify, you don't quite have the same ability. Actually, technically you could. You could put a as like a question that they need to fill out before they set up their session, is they need to answer, you could put it as like a question they need to answer, but you basically just say like that disclaimer that like coaching is not designed for you to like it's not designed for you to like make you improve, basically. Yeah, yeah. Like everyone who signed up had to check a box that said that they read this disclaimer that like coaching is not going to make you improve necessarily. It's just to give you advice. Okay, so let's see here. Mercy describes his skill set as control. Okay, yeah, so that's why I pulled up the notepad. Nothing we haven't seen before. Habib does implement decent methods of practice that do help new players get better. What I don't like is what he said. Is something else he said in Discord chat. Let's see here. Do you think you would have been able to look at your own replays and get the same information? Don't believe I would have been able to figure out a cure or remedy as efficiently or accurately as Habib was able to do. I've done this exact form of review and came to pretty much the same conclusions that he did, but I was not able to come up with the same conclusions that he described. I mean, yeah. Coaching is not really about like this. The person who comes for coaching most likely knows a lot more, or chances are they do know a lot more about themselves as a player than the coach who literally spends like 20 to 30 minutes talking to them before starting to give advice. But what the coach is there to do is that like you're paying for the time of someone who has the information already and like sort of has the solutions pre-downloaded and sort of like has seen those same situations 100 times before, for example, and sort of knows exactly what you might want to do in order to work through those problems. So yeah, I think the reason why this probably seems like it's an issue is because of like a misconception of what coaching is supposed to do. So yeah, he admits he has seen the mistakes on his own and attempted to fix them. This is exactly why coaching like this should not be behind a paywall. For the majority of player base, I'll finish this paragraph and then talk about it. For the majority of the player base, these players are paying 50 an hour for Hypno to tell them to play maps that focus on their skill set. I mean, okay. Can't deny that Habib did help Mercy here and was able to point him in the right direction, which he might have struggled to do before. There are widely available resources online all over the internet, especially in Discord servers, that will help people like Mercy figure out exactly how to fix their fundamentals without paying extortionate amounts of money for it. So this stems from the belief that it's generally more in the OC community than anything else, I think, although it's generally in some online communities. But the OC community really believes in unpaid labor. Things like the graphic design community of OC has had a lot of trouble with this, and really design communities all over the internet. But paying staff members for tournaments, even like, oh, actually, I would say prizes for tournament players, but that's a little different and like not really an issue except for the official World Cup, which like whatever, we're all just kind of we all just kind of deal with it basically, because we know that like the official devs don't really care about that stuff, which is like okay, like not really necessarily good or bad. Um, let's see. So yeah, I mean, this is. I mean, I'm gonna try to not repeat myself too much, but yeah, let's see whether they believe coaching is a scam or not. Um, it's obvious that these players are simply slightly modifying widely known experience, fitting them into the players that could have done it themselves. That is so simple as clicking circles to the beat. It's coming to the OC University program. Andrew Tate. Coaching has the potential to be a cheap and easy way to identify problems rather than showing new users how to follow guides that are on the internet already. It is instead used as a quick money grab by several top players. Okay. Interesting conclusion. Okay, I'll try to break down this paragraph a little bit. So these players are simply slightly modifying widely known expertise and fitting them to players that could have done it themselves without paying over $50 to hear it. Yeah, I agree, Fancy. I was mentioning that earlier, but usually the criticism that people give me about the fact that I do coaching is that I can't stream, which is like, yeah, I know, first of all. But also like I'm very confident in like my understanding of how like streaming and like sort of principles of technique work basically. Um, and usually, so specifically for streams, um, I I usually try to apply principles of like, or sort of my understanding of like what necessarily works usually comes from people who are like really good at that skill set and have sort of given their thoughts about it as well. And I sort of like aggregate all that information to sort of get my own understanding of things and then like apply that specifically to that person. Um, I've consumed a lot of like content and like talked to a lot of other top players as well. I've done a lot of sort of interviews as well with top players talking about like specific skill sets and their thoughts on things as well. So, yeah, my understanding of skill sets doesn't only come from my and like experience like 100%. That's definitely not the case. Um, okay, let's see. So yeah, coaching definitely does have the potential to be a cheap and easy, or sometimes free. You go to a random community server and like whoever happens to be in voice, you can hop in and like ask people to give you advice. Which like there's definitely people who are very willing to do that. Um, but like I think at a certain point, usually I mean, I don't know how to describe this without basically being like supply and demand dictates price. Um, if you're paying for someone's time, um, time is like the sort of one resource that you can't really multiply directly, and so I can't just like produce more time other than making videos, which I usually do. Um, Usually, especially around last year, around this time, whenever someone asked me a question in chat, I would answer it and I would clip it and I would post it on YouTube. Um, so, um, yeah. Let's see. What do you think one of the best mathematicians in the world should charge to tutor? Yeah, I agree. Basically. Um, Let me see if I miss anything in chat. Um, okay, let's see here. I mean, some of these like I don't really know how, like I don't know how to respond to this. Like yeah, okay. I can try. Hold on, let me think. And it's not because I'm trying to think of an excuse. It's just that like I'm not quite sure where this came from. Actually, I think I do know where it came from. I think so. I think it came from the understanding that coaching basically dispels information that you can find for free. Which obviously is true. Hopefully, this is the last time I'll repeat this. But basically, um, the point of coaching isn't to give you information that you couldn't get otherwise. It's for you to receive that information faster in a way that's personalized specifically to your situation from someone who is very experienced in that thing compared to you. Anyway, I'm gonna move on. Consistency and misinformation. Wait, what? Are you talking about? Wait, what? Like actual consistency in the game. Um, 3-star maps is a 2-digit. Okay, yeah, obviously. Um, putting all your skills put together. Well, one way that I've never really used this analogy before because I sort of thought of it kind of recently. Um, but basically, like another way you could think of consistency is like imagine you have a ladder where like the left like bar is basically like aim, and then the right bar is tapping, and then like the steps are reading basically. It's like consistency is basically like whatever is your weakest skill is gonna be limiting you basically. Um, Nice, yeah, and the thing with Nice, is that like he does a lot of sessions on stream, and then like he basically he does so much coaching that like he just doesn't even have time to play the game that he coaches for like casually. Like he doesn't have time to grind it and like rank up a lot. Um, so yeah, also like yeah, yeah, exactly. I agree with Fancy. Okay. Consistency is a hot topic between top players, is it? One of the things that Digital Hypno nails in his PhD video. Oh, thank you. Consistency is a culmination of 3 fundamental control skills: pattern processing, aka reading, finger control, and cursor control. Ways to improve that consistency spread across the OS community like wildfire. Did it really? I mean, personally, I sometimes don't know quite the extent that some of my videos have. Although I definitely know that OCPHD is um understandably basically my most viewed video. Um, but yeah, let's see. Might be one of the worst things that has been done for improvement. Oh, really? Okay, I'm interested to read this actually. Leaves conversations like the image at the beginning of this document. I'll post it again for. Oh, this one. Wait, what? Oh, I see. So basically, like this prompted me to make this document. Oh, I see. Or other improvement analyses and overthinking their improvement in a game where you click circles. Rank 110,000. Okay. Less efficient than playing 6 to 6.5. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what exactly is holding them back, which could be anything. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna keep reading this and then read chat. Training consistency by playing mid 5 stars and grinding for. Oh wait, I read this part. Um, 7. Okay. Okay. Yes, obviously. I don't think anyone disputes this. Necessarily. Um, by playing only lower star maps, he's effectively ruining his ability to play better on harder maps. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you start basically like capping your sessions at a certain star rating, um, let's go, let's go fancy. Grinding consistency. Okay, I'm also not sure where people got the idea that I'm just dispelling the. I don't think I've ever said that like you should grind 1 star under your maximum to train consistency. I don't think I've ever given that advice. Um, but yeah. Anyway, let's see. Rather stay anonymous. Okay. Okay. I mean, yeah. Apparently, you did talk to top players, which I'll get to. Um, everyone seems to want to practice using the same methods. Of what? Of pushing their skill cap or what? Some players are going to be naturally better aimers than others. Some better streamers. Okay, this I 100% agree with. Um, if you never get, if you never progress past um low star rating, you're never going to get better. Um, yeah, basically. Let's see. I won't go into detail, but the responses to that comment, let's just say the whole thread is pretty ugly. Wait, what? Oh. Yo, Tony, let's go. Also, I'll clarify again. So I was talking about how like um I don't usually consult um like the other coaches um or the other people that do coaching and like talk about like what advice they give and like try to coordinate giving specific advice. Um but yeah, I mean basically like everyone has their own philosophy for like how they see improvement, and that's sort of why like not everyone gets coaching from one specific person. Hold on, let me read chat. What's going on? All the people I talked to about coaching had positive experiences. I just used their words against them. Wait, what? Did say on Willie's stream that you just put the bad stuff on the doc. Oh, okay. So this is just all the bad stuff, like isolated, or what? Because that's interesting. They're like roped into coaching through believing it has some sort of extra benefit. Yeah, I'm not sure where you got that from. I've yet to have someone come for coaching that A, believed it would magically fix their problems, and B, didn't. Well, this is basically the same thing, but like, just I'd never had someone come for coaching that didn't understand that like they obviously have to practice still. Um, and coaching is just to sort of get um, an outsider perspective of someone who most likely knows what they're talking about. So, okay, I'm gonna keep reading. Um, Discord.gg/osu. The amount of bad advice and misinformation that is utilized simply because players are receiving from what they perceive to be high level resource or high level sources. Wait, what? Okay, let's see. Practice with alternating, etc. I only single tap and just alt on bursts. That's all preference. Personally, I'd advise anyone to alt. Wait, what? Okay, I haven't read this part yet, but I'm curious to see how you break this down in a way that paints me in a bad light. Yeah. Also, by the way, I have 550 videos on my channel, um, and some of them are many hours long. Um, I think, um, yeah, you can just sort of add that to what Fancy is saying. Mid 5 digit with the discussions how to practice bursting, keeping your rhythm. Telling everyone to alt is not good advice. Wait. Is this your conclusion? From that's all preference. Personally, I'd advise anyone to alt. Telling everyone to alt is not good advice. Okay, I will continue reading. It is much easier to build up finger control by learning both single tapping and alternating, which will improve your fundamental tapping skills much more than any other method, which is actually advice that has been given out by Digital Hypno in the past. Okay, so let's go. Let's go. It shouldn't be there. Wait, what? No. This part is less on you. Oh, okay. That's okay. I'll read it with that in mind. Um, let's see here. Searching for advice or consistency or jumps in public service is enough to find many more examples of newish players. Um, Much of this advice is not coming from improvement guides, rather generated by players who believe that, for the most part, they know what they're talking about. What? Newish players believing that they know what they're talking about. Dunning-Kruger effect. Let's see what's going on here. What's this? What's this? What is this, guys? Okay, let's see. If they believe random 5 digits they met in an OC server, imagine how many new players believe improvement guides that give out information that would only stall their improvement since it's coming from high level players. Oh, take all the people that are believing less experienced players that are giving bad advice. Imagine what would happen if they were taking advice from people who knew what they were talking about. What do you do as a 2 digit coach that's different from what advice would be given by a 4 digit? Is that you've basically passed every rung. If you're a 2 digit, um, and or like you've basically reached the top of competitiveness, um, in whatever it is that you're coaching, then like you've gone through every rung already. It's kind of like if you want to learn how to make money, don't read millionaire biographies, read billionaire biographies because they've passed through more rungs. So, yeah, just as a sort of general example. Let's see. Okay. While it's never possible to eliminate bad advice that comes from mid-level players, it is possible to eliminate bad advice that comes from coaching and improvement guides. Things such as defining skill sets that don't exist, such as technique. Wait. Okay, wait. Let me read this one slowly. Defining skill sets that don't exist, such as technique efficiency, rhythm sense, and aim stamina, are bad for the player base and are only making players improve less efficiently, in Habib's words. I want to see what context you got this quote from. Yeah, I mean, I would say like if you need a like um start treating the rest of the doc fairly. I mean, I feel like I might as well give my fair opinion on everything that's written here. I feel like it's not if not for the oh, it's in my PhD video. Okay, yeah, if not only for the person who wrote it themselves, but also for anyone else who's just curious, I guess. I'm gonna post this whole VOD on YouTube. By the way, it might end up being like 3-ish hours. Um, let's see. So supply and demand, thumbs up, +1. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm not sure where you got the idea that rhythm sense isn't a real skill, or an actual skill set. Where in OCPHD, I literally reference an outside source. I literally put a clip of um of another YouTuber talking about rhythm sense and how to train it. I'm not really sure if I made this up. Opinionated doctors, zero facts in here. Okay, yeah. Yes, that much is obvious. Let's go. I just think that's insane. Wait, what? The fact that supply and demand exists or what? Um, I mean, yeah, I think like the top of the top echelon will always like I mean this is basically what Fancy was trying to say as well. Like how much would you charge the best mathematician in the world for tutoring? Like being at the very, very top, I think like changes things as far as um like demand basically. And so if you're trying to buy someone's time, um then obviously you're gonna have to deal with the supply demand basically. Okay, let's see. Also, I don't know if you are aware that um like you know about like generic generic brand products that are literally the same thing but not branded and so it's not as expensive. um Things like luxury brands, um things like literally how literally just perception, people's perception of a product. And I'm not quite applying this to coaching. Yeah, you pay for the name, thank you. um but just sort of in general, just perception of perceived value of something will influence the price much more than the actual value that it gives, basically. Okay, I'm gonna keep going through this. Opinions of top players. Well, not Oh, okay. So this is where you ask top players. Well, not every player. And I think what Fancy was saying is that like obviously someone who was able to figure out everything themselves would not believe that coaching is necessary. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of like jumps, like jumps in logic, basically. Um, it's completely an opinion. Expecting this player to stop OCU. Apparently, people were though. I mean, I'll go back to the original tweet that got a lot of feedback. It's like, when Luciano really owned it, maybe just put a stop to OSU coaching lol, period. Okay, anyway. Um, oh, you specifically asked about, oh, okay. Yeah, this is part of the reason why I decided to respond to this. Um, and yeah, I also don't see a disclaimer in this doc that like, this is your opinion. Anyway, yeah, part of the reason I really like I myself want to go through this doc is because like a lot of it specifically is mentioning me. While not every top player agrees, I've talked to many that agreed with me. Wait, where is that? Okay, I'll get to it. Um oh. Wait, it's right here. While not every player agrees with everything stated in this document, I've talked to many that agree with me and believe that OC improvement guides and coaching are ruining the new player base. Made a list of questions. Well, to be fair, there's always going to be like no matter what era of OSU we're in, there's always gonna be something that someone will say is ruining. I want to know how old you are that you're this detached from reality. Let's go. Made a list of questions I wanted to ask top players, what they believed was true about coaching or improvement, how that impacted the new players of today. Do you think consistency is a real skill? Okay. Actually, if you're asking it this way, I definitely agree that like people have widely different perspectives of what consistency is. But yeah, let's see. What are the main skill sets that can be measured versus the skill sets in OC PhD? You think coaching is legitimate and players can improve based on coaching? I mean, I will say, as someone who studies survey design in college, that these questions are definitely biased. Let's see. How much of the advice have you seen new players use? Okay, I'm not quite sure. So one thing I'll definitely say is that like the majority of top players are disconnected from like the casual community. Let's go. Let's go, Fancy. Okay, let's see. Um, how much advice that you've seen new players use you think is unnecessary? What advice should be given to new players instead of what is in OC University? Okay, I'm not quite sure what this means because the advice given in OC University, aside from the server itself, where like literally anyone talks, anyone answers. Okay, hold on. Let me pull up the server and show you exactly the disclaimer in well actually it was in the old FAQ channel, which maybe I should bring it back. And by old I mean it disbanded maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, or 3 or 4, I don't know, but definitely within a month ago. Where's the FAQ or the Q&A channel? Found it. Okay, let me screenshot this. And pull it up on the screen. Hold on. So where is ShareX? What ShareX? Okay, this is the channel topic for the question and answer channel in OC University, in case this is what you're talking about. Anyone asks, anyone answers. Be careful not to take any one answer as truth. Also watch OC PhD. The reason this is here is because this answers a lot of questions, like unironically, which is why I made it, obviously. And I talked about that at the end of the video. But yeah, I mean, this is the most prevalent statement that I'm trying to emphasize here, but which is like the longest statement there, basically the only sentence. But if you're talking about the top player interviews, in most of those interviews, I give disclaimers at multiple points throughout the interview that like we're not trying to give objective advice, and we're sort of just talking about our own experiences with the topics that are being asked. So, let's see. You're mad at me? Uh-oh. Sorry to hear that. Some of these questions were combined or left out depending on answers I got from the previous question. Oh, so you asked one at a time. Okay. Most players prefer to stay anonymous, so they are labeled by rank. Oh, okay. It's like top X. Consistency is a skill set. Okay, so before I read that, actually, so I definitely know that there's a school of thought that consistency is essentially just how good you are at the game, like essentially just skill cap. Like if you can only barely play 6 stars, then obviously you're not going to be consistent at it. And then like if you can play 7 stars comfortably, obviously you'll become more consistent on 6 stars. That's one school of thought when it comes to consistency. The culmination of your actual is a skill. Yes, that's how I define it as well. If he means tournament performance, not quite. Because I define nerve control as a separate skill. Consistency is skillful. Yeah, that's one way to put it also. Let's see. Calling consistency a skill set is another example of Hypno overcomplicating everything for new players. Okay. I mean, the main reason I touch on it is because, and I gave this disclaimer literally before I started that section in OCPHD. Let me just pull up OCPHD. I'm curious to show exactly my wording. I'm already on the consistency section, and I said the word fundamentals. Okay, anyway. I think this method of memorization should mostly just be seen as training wheels of sorts, since as you get more comfortable with finger control, your muscle memory will also be more developed, and you'll need to do this sort of memorization less and less often. But like I said earlier, memorizing like this is a really good way to develop that muscle memory and start feeling more comfortable with your finger control. Okay, and with that, let's move on to the third and last fundamental control skill, which is cursor control. Oh wait, what? Cursor control? Okay, here. Consistent. Okay, this is what I was talking about. In which case, it's actually probably not your cursor control that needs work as much as either your pattern processing or focus need work. Okay, now that I've explained the three this part. Fundamental control skills, being pattern processing, finger control, and cursor control, it's time to talk about possibly one of the most common yet abstract questions that many players... Okay, so I prefaced it by saying this is one of the most common yet abstract questions, which I think sort of agrees with what you're trying to say. Oh my god, I'm gonna turn my lights off. My eyes are going crazy. Oh, sorry. Oh god, that was loud. Oh. My lights were like slowly burning my eyes. Oh my god. Okay, bad lighting for the rest of this because I'm super tired. What was that? Oh, sorry, that was my mic arm moving. Oh my god. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, sorry if that was loud. I forgot that would happen. Here's ask. How do I get better at consistency? Consistency can be... And then I started this section. Okay, let's see. Sorry about that. Oh, it's funny. Okay. Okay, let's see. What are the main... I'm going to compare my ideas to his PhD. By main skill sets, I'm guessing he means skills that could be grouped into considered umbrella terms. Yeah. That's exactly what I said as well. 80% of his graph. Don't agree low stars is a skill. I mean, that's, I think, a fair perspective to have on it, I would say. Yeah, I mean, obviously these are the broad categories, which is exactly how I designed it in OCPHD as well. Is those are literally the biggest squares. It's just aim, tapping, reading, because those are the biggest categories that everything sort of stems out from. Same player, everyone. Oh, so this is where Dine was saying that like a lot of it's just screenshots. Everyone agrees that coaching is a complete scam and waste of your time. Okay, interesting statement. Me when I live in a bubble. Three digits lost on 1 star. Let's go. Oh, what's up, Swada? Build a fan base and leverage that to delude them. Yo, Andrew Tate, digital hypnos to Andrew Tate of OSU, guys. City offered 50 an hour. So it's not just hypno. Oh my gosh, it's almost like that's the like what's the word for like market like demand, basically. That is literally the market demand. Everyone agrees with it. Oh my god, let's go. Yeah, basically a market value. Let's see. Everybody who has ever coached for $50 an hour, it's just messed up. Seriously, every single one of them. And so I assume what you were talking about is like anyone, um, anyone who didn't have bad things to say, you just didn't include their conversation. I assume, which is what apparently Willie said, or what you said on Willie's stream. When did you say everyone agrees with it? The fact that you said that um, that you were using other top players' words as basically your words, and so here they're saying everyone agrees. So anyway, um, how much of the advice that you've seen new players use do you think is unnecessary? Only good advice: play better maps, not having a technique, not having a terrible technique. Then pushing skill cap is a solid way to improve. Um, yeah, I mentioned this earlier in this stream, but the main reason why I usually tend towards not emphasizing skill cap pushing in my videos where I answer questions that people asked me is because usually people are already sort of by default focused on pushing skill cap. And so basically between fundamentals and skill cap slash mechanics, fundamentals is usually the one that gets neglected the most by players, which is why I've tried to emphasize it a lot in my videos. There are people disagreeing. I mean, apparently they're top 100 and they speak English decently well. You might be able to dissect it based on their typing style. I have no idea. But anyway, there's no timestamps, so it's a little hard. But yeah. Being aware of your aim. Okay. How you're reading and understanding what to do is important. People have subjective problems. Oh, so this is where you got the term, I guess. Previous overs. Oh, Luciano. Yo. Okay. I see. So this is what sparked Luciano tweeting about the doc. And so I assume this is going to be like very sort of negative about coaching in general, where like he just thinks that it's a scam. Consistency is a real skill. Consistency is being able to play a variety of skill sets and still manage to play them. If you have the patience. I think there's too many to be listed. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely ambiguity with beliefs. I think in the first minute or so of OCPHD, let me find the timestamp. Let's see. Who are looking to gain a more thorough understanding of the game and its skills. Wait, this is 30 seconds in. Before we begin, I'd like to put a disclaimer that this chart and this video was pretty much all made by me, and it's important to keep in mind that different players may see things differently or have different ways of going about improving. But regardless, the explanations in this video are pretty well agreed upon by a lot of players, and I even referenced advice of other top players when making this, so I think it's a pretty good starting point to help you understand the game on a deeper level. But this as well. On that note, if there's anything in this video that you maybe disagreed with, you're more than welcome to leave a comment about it and open up the discussion, or even make your own video talking about some of this stuff. But with that said, I did put a lot of time into this project. And then basically I just said like the video and subscribe. But yeah, wholesome. It's all connected in ways. Really? Is that so? Is that on God? So I made this chart. Is that really now? I like the video. Thank you so much. Do you think OC coaching is legitimate and players can improve based off coaching? I think you can get help, but you cannot be coached. Is there like a difference necessarily? Okay, I guess he'll talk about it. Coaching sessions are just so stupid, I don't see the point. Looking at the way I tapped, telling me what to try avoiding. Wait, what if literally 100 people DM this guy and ask for the same thing? Real? On God? I could just DM him? Where's his Discord? I want help, but not coaching. He would tell me what I was doing wrong by looking at the way I tapped at my house and telling me what to try avoiding. He would just feed me maps. I think I've been spending about a year now and it's finally paying off, but it mostly takes time. Well, this is almost like exactly what we describe about our coaching. It's just that not everyone lives in my city and I can just befriend them and go to their house and help them, but not coach them. 11% ACK improvement. Oh, dang, let's go. Long stream maps and practice maps are the most pointless, and new players being directed towards them is wrong. Which, by the way, in every single coaching session that I talk about long streams, I talk about how they're not really designed to actually push stamina. They're mostly for isolating your tapping if you want to like focus on something specific technique related with your tapping, which does have merit, but it's not specifically designed for like actually pushing stamina long stream maps, like the square stream practice thing, compared to just kind of playing actual maps and grinding your stamina. I say that in every single session where I talk about long stream. So yeah, with that sort of clarification as well, need to play maps with lots of various patterns and reading difficulties to build fundamentals. Yes, I would agree with that. Only makes you get good at one thing. I mean, yeah, because it's isolating literally streams and nothing else. Finger controls, spam maps. That's a practice map. What? Okay, what? Apparently, I don't know what you mean by practice map sets. Because here he's talking about Kira time, basically. Through your proofread. Let's go. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. Previous OWC player number 2. Okay. Stream map sets. Yeah, maybe like the burst map practice, or like, is egg pain considered a practice map? I mean, yeah, I'll also say that like I generally don't advertise my coaching necessarily, other than as a byproduct of a free community that I literally run by myself, that has over 10,000 members and is literally never dead, and where I interview other top players for free, which is people that like no one, like no ordinary player has access to those people, and usually I try to interview people that don't usually give their own opinions on improvement. I think the best example is probably Rafis, who I interviewed about high AR, where it's like I just interview a player that like I'm very aware that I'm privileged enough within the OC community to be able to reach out to certain top players that like obviously people won't really have access to, for the most part, and sort of ask them about their thoughts. Also during interviews, I don't give my opinion as much as possible, or as much as possible, I don't give my opinion. During those interviews, I mostly just sort of seek to understand and sort of ask about the other person's perspective on, you know, whatever it is that I'm asking about. Okay, let's see here. Oh wait, what? Oh, you said you were gonna ask one by one, but this one you just, okay. Just put all of them. Measuring anything is incredibly difficult. Whoa, wait. Measuring anything in this game is incredibly difficult. I thought it was just clicking circles. Clicking. So games that are so simple as clicking circles to the beat. Succumbing to the OC University program and buying these sessions. Wait, what? What? Previous OWC player? What are you talking about? What? Who said that? What's going on? If you charge more than like $10. Okay, if you charge over minimum wage, which you're displaying specialized information that you've collected and are aggregating for people in a condensed amount of time, that you should be paid less than minimum wage front desk fast food worker. Definitely scam, by the way. Okay, let's see. Everyone learns and plays differently. You can't teach anyone more than basics about how the game works. And minor errors with technique. Okay, that's an interesting take. Okay, because that's okay. I mean, a lot of it I can just say that's not true, and in some sense, like you could say that like I don't have basis for saying that it's not true. But I think what I'm really trying to emphasize, I guess, with that, talking about this in particular, is that like not everyone sees the game the same way, if nothing else. But yeah, I mean, I'm also usually, if I say that something's not true, it's because of my own experience. Only a fraction of advice I see about players in general. So much of the advice that's preached as fact is very, very preference based. Auto method is complete nonsense. Well, I did it. I would arguably say that I reached the top, quote unquote. So Yeah. Anyway, I talked about auto method earlier in the stream, so I won't talk about it again. Um, let's see. Don't think it's useful at all. Oh, shoot, it's not the same person. Okay, whatever. Oh man, so glad you found enough people that said no amongst all the people that probably said that it's helpful. Let's see. In terms of how others put it. Oh, this person's from the United States, top 50 player, previous OWC player. Okay. Okay, let's see. It's Curbsy. Yeah. Is consistency a measurable skill in that each player has a certain amount of consistency that leads them to seeing longer maps? Yeah, I mean, you can't measure, you can't quantify skill, essentially. Yeah, I feel like there's just like the alter ego of like this response, because for context, Fancy Lad has basically been like coaching alongside me, quote unquote. Like we're the two most active coaches on OC University. There was a third, Apraxia, but he stopped coaching after a while. So OC University is essentially me and Fancy Lad, just for context. Gurbsy was defending me. Oh really? Dude, Gurbsy's the freaking goat for real. Okay, let's see. What's the trying to write about digital hypno and how he's pushing new. Oh shoot, I want to see what the whole message was. What's the wrong direction? Annoyed at stuff like his OCPHD video where he goes over many skills and improvement methods that simply don't exist / aren't effective. Okay. Well, first of all, in OCPHD, I don't really go over improvement methods. I said that explicitly that I'm not going to find the timestamp, but I did say it specifically in OCPHD that like OCPHD is designed to be an explanation of the skills in the game and not really advice about how to improve at them. Let's see. Okay, it's the same person. In your opinion, what are the main skill sets that can be measured versus the ones in PhD? What? Never watched it, but I guess let me just talk about it though and give my criticism. What? Okay. Myself and many others are annoyed at stuff like his PhD video. Oh, yeah, it's the same thing. Aim, stamina, speed, reading. Those four are really the only relevant skills in the game. Oh, real? Aim. Okay, so aim tapping speed was already established to be broad. Oh wait, I think it's here in the beginning. Broad or like umbrella terms, those being tapping, aim, reading, endurance, and speed. Okay, wait. Okay, let me instant replay. If you'd be interested in a certain topic being covered, please don't be afraid to ask so that I know what you'd like to see. Okay, so the general idea with this chart is that there are different broad or like umbrella terms, those being tapping, aim, reading, endurance, and speed. And they each divide into different skills that connect in like a whole bunch of different ways. The first sort of foundation. Wait, real? Aim, stamina, speed, and reading. So stamina and speed is basically just a separation or distinction between the two main types of like tapping skill, I would say. So like I think this person could simplify this into aim, tapping, reading. Arguably, I'm not trying to speak for them, but I'm pretty sure that is a fair way to simplify this. So, and essentially what I said, endurance, I basically called stamina, but then I applied it to a couple other skills. But yeah, anyway, interesting. Okay. So far we're on the same page. Literally every video that claiming doing their methods will improve their players, which I'm not sure if I've ever quite claimed that. If I have, then please link the video. Quite curious what the context would have been where I said that. What most players don't realize is that OSU isn't as complicated as you think it is. OSU tutorials online claiming to help with whatever you're struggling isn't really effective since it's just a circle game. Yes, I can use this screenshot in my document. Yes. Thank you for agreeing with me so I can add you to my document. Um, OSU coaching scam. Yep, going in the doc. Easy. Might as well get an actual job. Wow, it's almost like we're all in college. I mean, and this is like admittedly more profitable than any like part-time job you can get. Um, so yeah, let's see. For a minute. Oh wait, okay. Speed player from the United States in top 50. There's only so many players this could be. Hold on. Let's pull up the OSU leaderboard. OSU United States rankings. Did I? Oh, did Fancy Coach Group see? Um, who could it be? Okay, speed player in the top 50 is ADK top 50. 44. Okay, this person. I have no idea who this is. Are they speed player? Oh, maybe it's this person. How long is their username? Shorter than symbiotic. Um, yeah, it might be this person because they're a speed player who has months of 6,000 play count. Which I'm not trying to say is bad necessarily. I'm just sort of saying that like if it further like speaks to their belief about how improvement is a lot about just kind of playing the game. Forget how to stream 190. Okay, this is because I was hard resetting my technique. But yeah, whatever. How much advice that you see new players use is unnecessary. Okay, what's going on? A spreadsheet. Do you guys offer a refund if the player doesn't improve? Wait, what? I've never done a research project nor a survey. This is also obvious. Okay, sorry, I'm like catching up with the chat now. I've been trying to get through the doc. You have a spreadsheet. What? Oh, here. You have a spreadsheet that shows players who took your coaching program and how they have improved in terms of rank. No, we don't do like statistics on people's improvement. Mostly because like I don't really think that's the most accurate way to measure. Yeah, I mean, I've yet to see criticism towards my advice about tapping, other than the fact that I can't stream myself. Did we find out who this was? The person who made the doc or the person in this screenshot? Person in this screenshot, I'm not sure. But if you're rounding to, oh wait, but you said, oh, previous OWC player. Oh wait, what? From United States. Wait, does Canada have AP? No. This is definitely not Arison. Slandered for no reason. Okay, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. HQSAG. Um. Okay. I take it all back. My information was limited. Um. Okay. I have no idea who it could be because definitely not any of the. Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna try to dig into it. You should instead just focus on mental since that's probably where most new or even old players struggle with. Let's work something fun out of a circle game. He has a convoluted view of how improvement in OSU works. That he sees new players as a rich market for making money. Okay. Next player. All right. Do you think consistency is a real skill and can be measured? Yes. Is it possible to? I'm not sure why this is what you started with, but okay. Yeah, had to leave this one in though, even though they didn't respond after it. Are you sure they're? Oh, okay. So by the way, the reason why I thought they were from the United States is because they reference AP OSU consistency theorem. So they're most likely from the United States and in high school. Because AP is mostly only in the United States. Is sort of why I came to that conclusion. But I'm not completely sure. But yeah, let's see here. Comes from every player differently. Yeah, it gets comes from every player differently, which is what I was saying a little earlier as well. Okay, I don't really see anything wrong there. What are the main skill sets? Aim, stream, speed. There's no such thing as main. Oh, okay. No XD. Okay, was kind of on the fence about this conversation, but getting the XD. There we go. Getting in the dock. Should have just kept this screenshot and nothing else. I think that probably would have helped. Anonymous though, trust me. How much advice have you seen new players use? If people do this, I mean, I did part of my motivation for this mostly because I just kind of liked how it looked in a clean way. But I think the person who somewhat motivated me for that was Sapphire Ghost. You guys know Sapphire Ghost. Also has your A ranks. Respect player of the world. Anyway, lately I saw people caring more about accuracy and actually seeing maps. Which I mean, it's by the way, it's almost like you can play the game however you want. Oh, then they want to improve. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, this might be something that if you consulted someone, if you really wanted to improve and consulted a top player, they might be able to break this down for you and get you to, be facing the right direction. But you can't coach people though. You can only help them. Perfection is something you should be trying to get as close as you can. But please learn how to play the game first. Almost like building fundamentals and then having a baseline of ability and then push skill cap. Everyone improves in their own way. Play whatever feels the most comfortable for you. Wait, what? Oh, yes. I mean, this is like the safest. Okay, safest not necessarily in a bad way, but like this is definitely like in a good way. I would say this is like very safe advice that anyone can follow. Which I mean, it essentially just kind of boils down to like play however you want. Well, okay, I won't simplify it that much, but yeah. Let's see. Oh, we're approaching the end. No. Is consistency a real skill? Oh, I hope there's a conclusion that Symbiotic wrote. I don't think it's a real skill. It's more so that out of how many tries can you replicate a score type deal. Yeah, I would agree. Well, to some extent. Keep bashing your head against the wall until you're top 100. True. And like the reason why people say play more is that like people okay, so if you're at a certain point of experience, you sort of sometimes forget the questions that new players might have, or like sort of the process that they kind of go through. And like some questions like, is the way that I tap okay, or should I just not worry about it? Like if you're not experienced, like sometimes it actually is important in certain things, and like it's reasonable for someone to come to that question to ask. But for someone who's like in a much further level of experience, then like obviously the sort of question seems ridiculous to the point where like and also like the more questions you get, it's like you're not going to waste your time, not really waste, but you're not going to spend your time elaborating on answering everyone's question who DMs you. Which by the way, when you're a top player, I don't know if you realize this, but people who are in the top rankings, like if you press F9 in game and you show up on the first page of the online page, sorted by rank, people will spectate you like randomly, and people will message you randomly. Um, so, yeah, if you're gonna spend your time elaborating on everyone's question, at some point, you just kind of like give them blanket advice that applies no matter what, and something simple, so you can just sort of like brush it off, basically. So let's see. Double or nothing. Let's go. Yeah, okay, I mentioned this earlier, but there might be some new people here, so I'll elaborate again, or I'll sort of tell the story again. So the story behind why the pricing is the way that it is before I started doing OSU coaching, someone who watched my stream regularly DM'd me on Discord randomly once, and he was like, "Will you coach me on OSU for $40 an hour?" And at the time, I was like, first of all, I don't really know what to do that, or how really to do that, or what that. Okay, I think I said I don't really know what that would entail. And also I was like, that seems like an excessive amount of money. But also at the same time, it was like, that was sort of the demand price that was set. And so long story short, I started doing some like mini coaching raffles on stream, and I would upload those to YouTube. And like some people would sort of talk about how like they might want to like do that like sort of with me in a more like established form. And so I basically like offered the same price that that person offered me, $40 an hour. And I started doing sessions, and then there were like definitely a lot. And so I I tried to see if raising the price a little bit would like slow down demand a little bit, and sort of make it more manageable on the supply side. And yeah, then 50 basically just kind of stuck. So that's how the price came to be. Okay, let's see. Oh, I think it's a huge scam. Screenshotted, easy. Let's see. Aim, speed, and reading. Reading can't be quite measured. Oh yeah, I mean, if you say skill sets that can be measured, and this is also basically something that I would agree with. It's just the way you ask the question. That was like, you could just say, what are the main skill sets in the game? But this person was answering as if you sort of meant that like objectively measure, like skills you can objectively measure. It's leading questions. Wait, what? I mean, yeah, I get that, but still just sort of kind of analyzing the specific answer. Obsessed about improvement. Is XY good for my rank? Yeah, that's always been a thing. And like I completely understand why some people who are kind of focused on improvement will have those sorts of questions. But yeah, anyway, let's see. Do you think OC coaching is legitimate and players can improve based off coaching? I personally think it's a huge scam and players are better off just playing the game. OC is not rocket science. The only method to get better is to play more. It sounds dumb, but it's a game of practice, trial, and error. It's always been like that. Second jumps, play more jump maps. Second speed, play more speed. It is as simple as that. I feel bad for players who just pay money for another top player to tell them something they can figure out on their own. Okay, I mean, okay. Those players will do anything to improve except playing the actual game. Copium. Clueless. Let's see. This is not something anyone should do. Oh, real? Really now? Tapping low BPM is not the same as tapping anything above 180. It's just pointless. Really? Wait, but I thought everyone loved KHZ method. What happened? OSU KHZ method. Hold on.
Hey, before we start, make sure...
Okay, 145. Okay, I guess that it's not really a metric. Where's the doc? Here it is. How I Learned to Stream by KHC. Phase 1, basic finger control. Start by playing long stream at 140. There's a good chance you will need no fill in the beginning to even pass it. If that's the case, just play with no fill and do your best. You play this 3 times when you start your session, 3 times when you end it. Eventually get a 95 plus. This can take months or a couple days. Wait, didn't he describe like the basis? I also he does give a disclaimer that like there's only one way to approach it, which is good because I feel like that disclaimer is so necessary in this community. Oh, here. The first thing you want to do is build some finger control for long streams because stream stamina is mostly technique and finger control. And then start by playing long streams. Okay, real though? For real though? I mean, really, I can't highlight the text, but you can see my cursor right now. Really now. Okay, so this is next player. Top 50 player number 3. Do you think consistency is a real skill? Mostly has to do with mindset. Oh, that's an interesting take. More confident I feel, the better I play. Yeah, that's an interesting perspective, actually. I kind of respect that. With that being said, consistency can in a way be a skill. I don't really see how it's supposed to be measured. I mean, yeah, I don't think I've ever said that consistency can be measured either. Can I label you as... Oh, this is a separate screenshot about wanting to stay anonymous. What are the main skills that can be measured? Aim, tapping, and accuracy. Okay, I mean, yeah. Because you're asking about like specifically being able to measure. I'd say gimmick, tech, etc. works as subcategories. I mean, yeah, there's like specific types of maps, I would say, rather than skill. But again, disclaimer, that's my opinion. It's almost like everyone has their own opinion. OC coaching is legitimate. Oh, screenshotted. It's almost like everyone in these screenshots said, oh, there's a conclusion. Okay, nice. Everyone in the screenshot said no. Good thing we don't have to include all the other conversations. Best way to improve is working with yourself on your own, figure out what works best for you. Well, how much of the advice that you see new players use do you think is unnecessary? Yeah, I mean, I agree with this also, but this is also something that pretty much everyone vocally sort of describes as like not the right way to think about things. I mean, I feel like preference is like the second most common bit of like blanket advice next to play more. It's just like it's preference, basically. 6 digits and above should not be getting coached. Wait, let me see that. It's like teaching a kid how to ride a bike, but also making him the best 8-year-old ever. Wait, huh? You will learn if you watch others and look at free content. Yes. I don't know if anyone's disagreed with that. The examples of useful OC coaching are few and far between. Really? OC coaching is a scam that takes advice and improvement methods already plastered all over the internet and fits them into a format that can be shoved into the mouths of new and gullible players. Are really going crazy with the negative connotation words here, who believe they're getting a completely personalized experience. Habib and the others on Medify. Okay, so we're in the know. Should be ashamed of themselves for taking money from people who feel stuck, and even sometimes giving them information that is incorrect. Okay, I'm not sure where that came from. There are many different better methods to continue helping new players without stealing their money. You do think the keyword is gullible? Well, can you elaborate a little bit? I feel like I don't quite, uh, yeah, I don't know. I feel like you should elaborate before I respond. Thank you for reading all the way through. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I mean, I think this perspective is sort of propagated by the general view of the OC community that um, like there should be no money involved, and like basically, if someone is spending money on something, then it's a scam. I mean, okay. Have you ever walked outside and like seen any of the buildings that surround you when you go to a shopping center or literally anything? Was it something in the doc where he was offering coaching the way he thought it should have been? No, I didn't see that. Okay. Um, let me hide the notepad and or the doc and just blow you guys up. What's up, y'all? Um, I need my where's okay, image. Hold on, this is really important. And there we go. All right, let's see. Solis, what's up? Thanks for raid. Okay, let me read what XI said. The idea of paid coaching is a weird place where it's opportunistic for one end but not the other. I mean, it's an exchange of value. So basically, how pricing works is if the person giving the money feels like what they're getting in return is a higher value, is like if they feel like the exchange is actually favorable for them, then they'll make the transaction because they feel like what they're getting for their money is more worthwhile than just having that money themselves. So yeah, just a brief sort of overview, getting everyone on the same page of what money is. What's up, Sawada? Let's go. Don't think there's anything wrong with calling a service a scam if you don't agree with its pricing. I mean, I think you're using the word scam in a like to not mean its actual definition. No, don't no notifications. That's actually correct. I don't. Hold on. Did you donate on Streamlabs? Oh my god. What? Sorry, sorry. I have notifications off. I don't remember why I disabled them. Hold on. Go to dashboard. Recent events. Yo, wait. Yo. Okay, I'll pull this up just for you. This is the scuffed alerts. Gonna need a live coaching session. Dorian, you know, that's the market value, I suppose. $10. I mean, anything above that I think would just be a scam. So I mean you didn't even need to donate, to be honest. You just ask. Just ask for a profile review and I'll look through your profile and give you personalized advice. Okay, I should probably stop talking before people take me seriously. Okay, let's see. I mean, like the OC community is so like volunteer driven, and it's sort of like I think the beliefs, and this is not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just sort of like this is generally how things work. Is that the beliefs of the person who's like at the top, like the CEO of a company, sort of like the stronger their beliefs are, that sort of gets distilled throughout the like everyone else in that ecosystem. So like the main developer, which in this case Pepe, has very strong beliefs about like not wanting money to be involved in anything OC related. Well, okay, not necessarily, but he has like strong beliefs about like the like how money sort of like affects people's like motivations and things like that. I won't try to speak for exactly his words, but I think that's something that's pretty well known, I think, and it's also sort of something that has sort of like trickled down throughout the OC community, where like and also I think it doesn't, what doesn't help is that the majority of OC players are still relatively young, which sort of like, and this is also just sort of general statement where like usually the younger you are, the more value you place on like certain amounts of money. It's like, oh my gosh, I got $5 for my birthday, I'm rich. It's like, I mean, you know, why are you in my house holding me at gunpoint, forcing me to pay for coaching right now? Oh my god. You you will buy coaching. Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. Someone's gonna clip that. Oh my god. Am I done? Anyway. Pepe does everything on a volunteer basis. No, he definitely does not. Like he pays people who do official things for the game because he believes that like people's work should be like properly compensated. I'm talking about Pepe. Pepe definitely does like okay, maybe I worded it the wrong way. Um, but yeah, getting paid for doing official things for the game, dude. If you made the event yourself, okay, but he believes that like anything, or I guess like not he believes, but like anything that could just be um or sort of anything that you sort of like volunteer to do, I guess, as a sort of like community. Oh, okay, I think it's mostly like community projects, I guess, that he sort of feels like if money starts getting in the picture, then like that becomes the main incentive instead of just kind of having fun with it, and just kind of doing things for the fun of it, which I think is a, by the way, just full disclosure, I think that's a very respectable perspective. Sometimes it's a little extreme, his perspective of it, but I think like having that like very strong stance on his beliefs for the community that he literally made himself, is completely respectable. So, um, you have no rights. Anything and everything you do will be considered volunteer work. So wise. Thinking about Ruruchi. No. Cry. Um, my thoughts on Mikosu. Um, very, very helpful. Or like obviously just sort of customizing maps for to sort of optimize them to be sort of like at the right difficulty that you want. A lot of that stuff, a lot of what Mikosu, oh, I think actually I haven't used Mikosu that much. I think if you want the client to be able to like change the difficulty settings and stuff really easily, um, then a lot of OSU, like OSU Laser can do like a lot of the major map customizations that like Mikosu or even OSU Trainer could do. Um, but yeah, I definitely know that Mikosu definitely has a lot of um, like unique mods for practice, but I personally haven't used it that much, so I can't speak to like all that it can do. Notice personally, I tend to play more and improve more when I get positive attention from others. Do you think that's a significant portion of improvement that people see when coaching? Or do you think that a significant portion of improvement that people see from coaching could be purely due to the players starting to have someone else like the coach who cares about their performance? Okay, I definitely agree, and I can sort of give my comments on like my coaching session that I did with Rectigon, where he was coaching me. That was the first time I ever really did like a coaching session with someone else coaching me. Um, and so what I'll say is that like, um, and okay, first of all, I'll say like I definitely feel like I got value out of that session. Oh yeah, by the way, you can find that session full recording on my YouTube channel. I think it's the latest video that I have out right now.
Hello.
I'll link it in chat. It's an hour and 9 minutes. So anyway, my overall thoughts with my session with Rectigon coaching me is that overall view is that I definitely feel like I got value out of it, but not for the information, which is exactly what coaching is supposed to be. I don't really think he mentioned that many concepts, if any, that I had never conceptualized before. It's not like any of the information he gave me was like completely brand new, like novel to me, but he brought up a lot of things that were definitely relevant to my situation that I either hadn't quite considered in a while or like hadn't yeah, just like kind of forgot that those were things, or that like I'd never really thought to apply to myself necessarily. And just sort of in general, I think like the way that he talked about like sort of my situation overall, I think gave me a lot of motivation. In particular, it sort of just like aligned myself to like a narrower path instead of like feeling like my path is kind of like I generally know the direction, but it's like I feel like there could be many different routes to get there, and sort of having someone's perspective to sort of align you in one direction, with advice, obviously, which you can choose to agree with or not agree with. I'm sure there were like maybe one or two things that he mentioned during the session that I sort of not necessarily dismissed, but I sort of felt like didn't necessarily apply or like weren't really things that I wanted to incorporate into myself, which is obviously completely okay. Um, but yeah, I definitely do believe that like I got a lot of value out of my coaching session with Rectigon, but it was mostly through like the sort of like, I think it gave me a bit more confidence to like actually push myself on harder maps. Um, which yeah, I mean maybe it's just a mental thing, but I sort of like, and I mean I don't know, maybe some people here can relate to this, but like certain skill sets, if you feel like you're not super good at them, or really just in general, sometimes you sort of like limit yourself on the maps that you challenge yourself on, because you feel like certain maps are like you're like not ready for yet, basically, and so you sort of like avoid trying to challenge yourself on those. And I think part of like what I've gained the most out of my session with Rectigon is sort of like gaining the confidence to actually challenge myself on maps that I previously sort of blocked out as like just kind of maps that I'm not ready for yet, quote unquote. Um, so yeah, okay. There was a message earlier. Yo, what's up, Carrie? Carrie, can you coach me? Coach me on actually everything. IMO, this type of information would have been gained without needing to spend $50. Could have just watched a couple of YouTube videos. Yeah, can you find them for me? Um, allow flexibility with when people pay. Oh, wait, Fancy. Do you allow people to pay after they do their session? I'm not something of like, I'm not sure if that's something that you do or not. The doc had a change. Real talk. Reload. Okay. Wait, yo, what's up, money doc? Schedule a week plus in advance. Yeah, I know. Okay, I agree. Yeah, that's what I do too. Is you can pay anytime before the session, which on Medify it doesn't actually work that way. You have to give your payment information. So on Medify, you give your payment information when you sign up, and you pick a time slot based on the coach's availability that they put into the system. But okay, so for payment on Medify, the coach doesn't receive the money until 15 minutes before the session is scheduled to end. So basically, like towards the end of when the session is scheduled, then the transaction goes through. So like, you know, if you like want to cancel before then or something like that, then yeah. Okay, let's see. Also, I will say I do like this title. Um, it's very emotionally reactive, which is basically I think the most important metric when it comes to making titles. Um, so yeah. Anyway, let's see. Oh, what's going on? Okay, let's see. I feel like I've made a mistake. Oh no. Okay. Well, this is first of all, it's not the intention I wanted to try making. I made this clarification at the start, but basically, like, I'm not necessarily trying to, um, sort of like, what's the word? Like, argue against any of the points that were made here. I'm just the reason why I went through this doc is because I 99% of the time don't go through or don't respond to like criticism when it comes to coaching. And so I figured if someone makes a doc this long, it's like kind of like goes through the effort of like discussing me basically, then I feel like they sort of deserve, and sort of anyone else who's might be curious about my perspective, kind of deserves, um, like my perspective of things. It's not very thorough and well written, and while yes, it's a little biased, it is an opinion piece. It doesn't really, but it's not really presented as such. I made some bold claims that I appeared as fact throughout the document, and I'm sorry for that. I just got fed up with my belief that OC coaching was useless, and I continued that belief through my time writing this document. I mean, first of all, I would say that like this is completely understandable. So as long as you sort of acknowledge it, which you're doing now, which is good, then I think it's all good. I'm sorry for this. I'll delete this document soon because obviously it's not coming. No, wait. Okay, well, you don't have to delete it. I think. But anyway, obviously it has not come to very good rep by people who do know what they're talking about. Do not expect this document to get this much traction at all. And just sort of as a piece that I felt would be nice for a couple people to read and understood why I believe that coaching is not right for those community. Which is, I think, valid if this was your original intent. Although I mean, I can definitely say that like it didn't come across that way in the document. which may have just been a sort of like the way that you um ended up like conveying this, like just kind of didn't, your intention didn't come across clearly, basically. um wasn't expecting such a vehemently bad response to it, but now that it's been released, I can see why. There's no reason this should have ever been released in this state with very little unbiased information presenting itself as a piece with facts. um I mean, first of all, I will say that like, even though you might, and like most people might feel like this document wasn't perfect, which I don't think anyone was expecting it to be, it definitely had a lot of value in like um, getting people to think a bit more. I mean, like it provided enough value for me to like do the stream and sort of like break down a lot more information about what exactly I do during coaching sessions and sort of talk about it a little more. Kind of giving the context and things like that. So, yeah. So I mean, I was literally about to actually, I got up from my computer and went to go like grab something quick to eat before I showered and went to sleep. And then I saw this and I was like, before this gets too old, I'm gonna just go through, because okay, so basically I saw this doc soon before I got up, and then I was like, I'm gonna read this before I go to sleep because obviously I want to know like what criticisms people have and whatnot. So then I was like, well, if I'm reading it, then I might as well just read it on stream. So yeah. Um, let's see. Do you not think there's holes in your current coaching program? Um, oh, I mean, if no, no, I think saying that I have a solid like coaching for like that, if I said that my coaching on OSU was perfect, or that I sort of had it down to like a rock solid formula, that would basically be like me saying that like I'm essentially the number one player in OSU. It's basically like um how do I put this? Because like coaching is something that you improve as well. Like I can see, so every now and then I pulled up um some like notes that I took from sessions that were around a year ago. Um and I definitely feel like my overall sense of like skill sets and just like experience as a coach has definitely improved since then. As a general statement, and this also applies to like well, okay, I'll touch on that later, but like as a general statement, if you watch a video of yours from like 3 or 4 years from the past and you don't cringe at a couple things, um, chances are that you haven't grown that much since then, which could mean that you were already really mature at the time, but it could also very well mean that like you just kind of haven't grown since then. Um, and that applies in a general sense. Like if you just watch a video of yours from, like, a lot of people cringe at their old videos, um, which is actually good. My main point is that like if you cringe at your old videos, then I think it's actually good because it sort of shows that you've grown and sort of to some extent matured since then. Um, my coaching has absolutely improved immensely since I started. Yeah, I mean, my first coaching session, like I didn't even know that OC coaching was a thing. Someone just DM me and asked me to coach them, and I was like, I suppose I could try. And yeah, since then, I mean, I feel a lot more comfortable. Like I feel comfortable enough with the structure of my sessions, enough to where like I can sort of spell out a blueprint of how most of my sessions go. Which is like we start by getting a good understanding of their skill set and their goals as a player and some of their history as a player, and then sort of combine all the three to figure out what exactly they should focus on. I hope I don't run out of things to talk about. Oh no. Uh, yeah, I see. Yeah, I mean, I remember. Yeah, Fancy. I remember you mentioned that you're um like you probably you don't really like in the past. It was like a while back, maybe over a year ago, that you felt like you weren't really able, or like you don't really know if you'd be able to go for longer than an hour in a session. Um, what problem have I never seen before? Oh, that's a good question. I should try to go through some stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, I also think it's just like different people have different perspectives and like styles of communication, if nothing else. Um, as far as like, um, your, oh yeah, I remember you told me about that. Um, Uh, it's funny. Um, yeah, I mean, I would be lying if I said that like I felt satisfied and like felt like I 100% helped every single person that came for coaching. Because there's definitely some people that like, um, obviously you do your best to give them advice because they came to you, but like there's definitely some situations where it's like it's very difficult to actually know what to say. Um, but yeah, I mean, basically in those situations, you just kind of like sort of break down what you do know to be true and like try to work with them um, to see like how exactly it might apply. Um, oh yeah, okay. One thing that I'll emphasize is that during my sessions, um, usually as a part of like getting to understand their history as a player, I usually ask like what other things they have tried in order to improve the specific thing that they're coming to me for, because I'm pretty sure I can confidently say 100% of the time, if someone paid $50 an hour for a coaching session, then this is not their first attempt at solving the problem. Like they have usually tried most of the generic things already, which is why they're coming to coaching in the first place. So I first of all understand that obviously, and so I really try to ask people what things they've tried so that I don't just give advice that they've already tried and like it doesn't work for them necessarily. Um, yeah, and I'll sort of add on to that. So in the OC University server, we have a coaching questions channel where every now and then someone will come in and be like, do you feel like coaching is something worthwhile for me? Actually, I literally answered this question earlier today. Like, how many hours ago? 11 hours ago, someone asked this question. Here, let me just screenshot this and I'll show you exactly what I said. And this is more or less the answer that I usually give. Okay, let's see here. Can you ban? Wait. Okay, no, you can't anymore. Now he's mod. Okay, hold on. Let me move this over. Okay, browser. By the way, in case you guys just got here, the reason my lighting is super bad is because I'm admittedly a little tired and my lights were like burning my eyes. So I just turned them off. So you're just gonna have to deal with bad lighting. Um, okay, so someone came in the server. You can see they're relatively new to the server based on this. Should I get a session if I'm 6 digit? I used to be high rank around 100k, but I stopped playing. I said, and this is usually I've given this answer a couple times in this channel. Coaching is most suitable for people who feel like they know where they want to end up as a player, but don't know how to get there, and or want personalized experience on how to improve. Make this smaller. Based on their current situation. Want personalized advice on how to improve based on their current situation. If you feel that you still have things to work on or experiment with on your own, it might be better off to wait until after you've tried other things. And I was specifically talking to this person at this point. Or it might be better to wait if you feel like you have other stuff that you still want to work on. But if you do get a session, I'm sure you'll still be able to get value out of it after having a top player look deep into your skill set and goals. Which, I mean, yeah. Do people really back the ones who hate on coaching in the way OC Uni does it? It's really interesting, like, based on what social media platform you go to, people have very different opinions, which is kind of crazy. Reddit and Twitter obviously are the big ones where like people kind of just have whatever opinion they want, and it's normalized basically. But or like basically there will always be someone who agrees with you. But wait, what? Let's go, fancy. Have you seen his post? Can you link? It's all he put. Yeah, there's definitely some people who like have like they've definitely made it a hobby to bash on OC coaching, which is very wholesome. He's banned. Wait, he's 5 digit? Yo, he must have gone through enough YouTube videos because you can just watch them for free. You don't need coaching. he watched Osu PhD. Finally, after watching 200-hour-long Osu videos, he finally found Osu PhD, and that was the one. After 200 hours of watching videos, he quote retweeted one of my tweets talking about how much he hated me, rent free, I guess. The person who coached who ended up cheating. Oh, Smato. Yeah, you guys were talking about that in OC Uni. I'm not familiar. I wasn't actually familiar with what exactly happened. That session was really fun though, because we just mostly talked about like mentality related stuff and not the actual like I did some sessions I don't actually watch any gameplay of yours. Um which is usually dictated by the person themselves. Like if they come in and they just have like a bunch of sort of general questions that don't actually pertain to their specific skill set, then I'm not going to waste time watching their gameplay if that's not what they want to focus on in the session. So that's me, my bad. Seems better ignore than sparking controversy. Controversy? Well, the reason I'm doing this stream is because I usually don't ever elaborate on my thoughts about coaching, so I figured I might as well do this stream and sort of like have a very comprehensive sort of discussion about sort of my experience in case anyone is curious about it, since it is definitely true that sort of up until now, like I don't respond that much to when people criticize coaching. So yeah, Twitter's definitely a fun place where like anyone can have whatever opinion they want, which is you know, just an objective statement, I think. Well, to an extent, you have to follow the terms of services, but yeah, anyway. Blue? Wait, I thought you didn't respond. Oh my god, sorry. Wait. Okay, I lost track of some people. Let me add you to the forum post now. I'm sorry, Blue, I'm sorry. That was me button mashing with my mouth. Everyone is entitled to their opinion turned into all opinions have equal merit. Yeah, I mean, if you want to get into this discussion, it's like the problem with algorithmic content, which is where, oh, what's the word? Okay, some of you might know what I'm talking about, where like gradual like polarization towards a specific view, like bubble of opinion. Oh, back to OC. All right, see you, Blue. Thanks for letting me know. Let me update the form right now. Echo chambers? Yeah, but there's a specific term for like gradually like sort of drifting, like based on your social media feed or whatever it is, you sort of gradually drift to be like more and more, yeah, radicalization. But there's like, I think it was like a 2-word phrase. I don't remember exactly. Speaking of OC University, since you're all here, check this out, y'all. Improvement Month. You guys remember OC Improvement Month from Happy Stick? Guys, it's back, y'all. It's back. Why is the chat in the way? We're hosting OC Improvement Month. Let's go. I'm actually really excited for this. So the most prevalent stuff that's here is top player interviews with all of these players thus far. There's a couple people who said, "Yo, are you the scammer?" Wait, yes. What's up, Tyler? A couple people who said maybe. White Cat said maybe. I think Karyu asked about schedules and then ghosted me. So I might go ask him again. But yeah, a couple other names aside from these, but wait, Karyu, wait a minute. Wait, yo. There's top player interviews. That's gonna be super fun. There's literally gonna be interviews all over the place. Do the Gerbsy interview. Okay, Gerbsy I also want to get on my personal podcast, which is a little less OC focused and more like general like concepts and analogies and things like that. But yeah, I'm down to get Gerbsy on as well because he's also familiar with or like semi-pro in other games, Fortnite in particular. Um, right. You want to do an interview? Yeah, I'm down. If any of you guys like know that you're a top player, like top 200 to 300 in the world, and you want to do an interview, just reach out to me. Crescento, wait, yo. Okay, I'm down. um, what's the interview? It's okay. So how these interviews will work is there's a generic form for all questions, and then during our interview, I asked I asked Wowie, he said no. I'm pretty sure. Um, but yeah, so during the interview, we just pull up the list of all the questions, and we'll just kind of go through whatever questions you think are interesting, and we can just talk about them. And mostly, I'm just there to sort of facilitate the interview, I suppose. Um, but it'll mostly, I'll try to sort of, and this is what I usually do during interviews, is sort of like make it a platform for you to give your perspective on things. Um, so okay, if you guys know that you, okay, shoot, hold on, let me just write you guys down. Okay, so write. Wait, Milk Teas, and were you trying to say that you wanted to do an interview as well? Okay, Carrie just responded or like ghosted me again. What? What's going on? You just said XD. Okay, do you want to do an interview or not during October? Jordan. Oh yeah. Wait. Jordan the bear. He told me to ask you, and then I forgot. Okay, Jordan LR7 can do it most likely. Okay, if you can't, then like don't worry about it. But I'll just write you down for now, carry you, and then if you dip later, then people are just going to be disappointed. So whatever. Um, my friend Sawada wants to interview. Oh really? Yeah, Crescendo, if you want to do an interview, I can write you down. Interview Loki. Loki hates me. Wait, Loki actually okay, Loki would never do an interview in OC University. I'm pretty sure. Unless I have outdated information. Crescendo, okay, I'll write you down. Who did I miss? Okay, but anyway, let me go through the rest of this. So so the main thing as far as like the actual Discord server is we'll have like channels where you can sort of like give yourself a role and sort of collaborate with other people that are also focused on that skill. Like most different skills here. Okay, this is the part of the event that I'm most excited about. So squads are basically I'll assign you to a random group of 8 players who also want to be in a squad. And it's just like basically a smaller group for you to collaborate in. There's nothing specific planned with squads, but I just think it's a really cool way to sort of like meet new people. It's not going to be balanced by rank or country or literally anything. It's just anyone who opts into squads, you guys will just kind of get around or like get to hang out with each other. Like a circle jerk. Wait, what? Check DMs. Oh yes. Pre-recorded. Oh, okay, and then there's also King of the Hill tournament on weekends. So basically, the interviews will be on weekdays, and then the King of the Hill tournament will be on weekends. Basically. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so another thing with Improvement Month, and this is inspired by the tapping stamina study. That was the name of it. But basically, in that event, we assigned people to smaller groups and had them report their progress in their sessions. And that I think was really motivating for a lot of people. And so we're sort of bringing back that concept of sort of like logging your progress through a form. This form is very short, by the way. Like the progress report, it's basically like, I can just show you what it looks like. Hold on. Progress. Oh wait, what? Um, hold on. Progress log form. Okay, here. So name, profile, Discord name, what day are you reporting for? What skill sets did you focus on? What scores are you most proud of? Or what score are you most proud of? And then how did you feel about today's session? It's literally just like a very that's literally it. Um and so what we'll do, can you get a keypad anyway? Um yeah, so the sort of incentive for doing the or like filling out the progress log is anyone who filled out at least 10. Oh, this should have been colored. What? Oh, okay, I might change that. Um anyone who logs at least 10 sessions will be getting one of 20 keypads as a giveaway. Thanks for the stream. See ya, Forsyth. See ya. Let's see. If someone leaves a squad, yeah, I think there should be one. I don't really have a system for that, but yeah, I mean, we would definitely just like assign people to squads that already exist. 10 sessions. Oh, like just like fill out this form on 10 different days. Because like the point of improvement, like this whole improvement month event is just sort of like to spark motivation within the community to improve basically. Oh, I just hit my mic. It's mostly just to spark motivation and sort of like bring the community together in some sense. If you log 30 sessions, does it wait, what? On the same day? I don't know what that means. Oh, wait, I see what you mean. Like, is it like per 10? No, it's not. And the reason why I just capped it at 10 is because like I don't want to incentivize people to play more than they should. 10 is basically a little under 3 sessions per week on average. I just sort of want it to be something. I might do like a leaderboard of people who submitted sessions just so like you can um have like I don't know some recognition if you played every single day or something. But like I don't really want to incentivize people to play more than they would need to. Um, what keypad? Most likely Momokai. I talked to Momokai. Originally, I wrote from any company that you would want up to $50. But then I was like, maybe Momokai will sponsor the event. So I'm talking to them right now. Except this forum post wasn't out yet, so there wasn't that much for me to really say. A good way to get a bunch of new maps. The fastest answer I could give is probably Usu Collector. Oh, by the way, in case you guys don't know, on my user page towards the top is these Maple databases. He wants you to not play more. Oh my gosh, wait, careless. Wait to your right. But yeah, the first three here, these are literally like database dumps of um hold on, let me pull this up so that okay, we're good. Like database dumps of maples. So let me zoom this up. There we go. Yeah. So there's no links on here, but you can just use the map IDs. But this is like you'll literally never run out of maps. So just do you can go through these databases and then basically whatever map you like, just go to that mapper's profile and go to the beat map section, or just like any player that you like, go to their beat map section. And go to their favorited maps most likely, or if they have other maps, you can check those out too. But basically, okay, you really like this map. You can either search the artist name by just clicking on it, or you can go to their profile and go to their beat map section and just like literally just do this process. You'll most likely find like at least one map per profile. But yeah, this is like the greatest way to find maps in my opinion. It's just a little more time consuming, but you could also use OSU Collector, which is basically like people upload their collections. Yo, what's up, Blue? High fructose corn syrup, dude. Um. Oh yeah, Osu matchmaking. So I'm trying to incorporate matchmaking into improvement month. Um. But yeah. I mean, I basically just sort of mention it as like a thing that you can do essentially. Define what skill cap means. It basically just means you don't have the mechanical skill to play a certain map. Like, usually it's like raw aim, like large spacing, or like aim speed, or like raw tapping stamina, or like actual reading speed. Usually it's mostly speed related or like endurance slash stamina. But essentially being skill cap is that wait, let me read the rest of it. Sometimes here as someone who's too bad to play something, but also the opposite where someone's too good slash fast to play something easier. Okay, I wouldn't say the latter is skill capped. Is like what is defined as skill capped. Um, if someone is too good slash fast to play something easier, no, I wouldn't define that as skill cap. Skill cap is when like you're too bad to play something, basically. Fancy's posture when playing is absolute Giga Chat inspiring. Way too true. Is he even still here? Use the latter to describe skill cap. Oh, really? Listening. OMG. Oh yeah, and then also, so like since it's sort of incorporated in OC University, as like throughout the month of October, there's going to be discount codes on all the Medify coaches, um, as like a part of it, a part of the event. Um, so thumbs up, OMG. We're almost we're going down. Eventually, we'll be under minimum wage. 25% discount. Yes, there is 25% discount on coaching for the month of October. You can't request to be squatted up with other people. It's going to be completely random. Maybe with Molly. I mean, you can if you like the point of squads is to like basically the point is to meet new people. If you want to squad with specific people, you can just kind of like have your own little group chat or server or whatever. I would say. Yeah, everyone should check out OS Improvement Month. Um, this forum post just got released recently. Actually, so I um posted it on OSU Game, and then like one of the first replies was this was the first reply. Hold on, let me. What what did I just do? Okay, yeah, here. Um, so yeah, Reddit is awesome, but the second reply was this, which was the I assumed it was like relatively old, but this was literally 4 hours before I made my post about OSU Improvement Month. Posted on main. Well, I mean, I always post on main, but still. So yeah, and then I saw this, and then I was like, wait, this is. I was like, OMG, this is from today. There must be like coaching like drama again. And then I was like, yo, let me check Twitter. Um, Usually, so my Twitter feed is relatively clean in a sense. So if I want to check in on like what tweets people are like talking about this stuff slash me, I usually just vanity search or whatever it's called. Like I search my username, and that's how I found the Luciano tweet. I haven't seen anything else about it to be honest. So ego search, so true. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know the extent of like people talking about OSU coaching right now. Um, I appreciate how like sometimes a certain topic can kind of blow up um, on Twitter or whatever, and like everyone kind of is giving their opinion about it. I think it's cool. If you win a keypad, don't want it, can you ask for a Momokai product of equal? Oh yeah, you could. You could. I feel like you could probably just ask for the money instead if it's not being sponsored. Um, but I feel like it's more fun if you actually get a thing. So yeah, guys, let's check Osu game. What the heck, Emrek choked a score. Wait, wow. Money to pay for coaching. How to participate tutorial. Participate in what? Oh, okay, so quote unquote participating in improvement month. You don't have to sign up for improvement month as far as like participating in the events, except for um the King of the Hill tournament. You do have to sign up for that. Oh, and squads you have to opt in. Which tomorrow I'm gonna make an individual announcement in the server. Oh, okay. I'm gonna make a note to self to add Blue to the forum post. Oh, Blue, Riot, Jordan, Carrier, and Crescento. I'll add you all as interviewees. Okay. Let's see. A copy pasta tweet. Yeah, I know, but I mean, okay. My point is less that that FT Sky has this opinion and more that like, I just think it's fun that like everyone can sort of like, if nothing else, just kind of poke fun at the current trend that's on Twitter. It's kind of like its own little mini game on the internet. I think it's cool, but yeah. Anyway, um, you guys should all. Wait, let me see what people are saying. Total post 10. Oh, let's go. Wait. Wait. What? What? Kazakhstan. What? Oh, okay. He's on the climb though. He's on the climb for real. Did Ed not agree? He hasn't responded yet. I'm probably gonna. So anyone who said maybe or didn't respond, I'm gonna bug them again on Friday. Got your Discord? Most likely, I'm sure we share a server. Oh, I forgot to wave. I sent a message. Okay, I'll just send you Obama cartwheeling backwards. Or actually forwards. So yeah, tomorrow I've made a list, note to self, for you want that message? I'll just put it in OC Uni General. I don't know where to put it. Okay, let me just show you what it looks like. This thing is awesome. Incredible. Regular 2 key 3 button or the new 3K one. I'll ask you which one you want, basically. If you win, you can choose. Yep. Okay, y'all. I think it might be time to wrap up for today. But the stream ended up being, well, I guess probably I should probably expected it to be around this long. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I'm just gonna dump this whole VOD on YouTube. I think I'll cut the first 5 minutes because I just kind of sat there waiting for people to show up. But yeah, thanks everyone who joined the discussion. You guys are super cool. Check out the improvement month. You guys should all join. TLDR. That's hard. TLDR of the doc was that the person who made it believed that OC coaching was a scam and sort of like wrote an opinion piece about it, but sort of like tried to present it as fact. But yeah, we had a nice wholesome conversation in the Honmi Twitch chat where we all had a nice civil conversation about coaching and perspective. Yeah, I'm super excited for Improvement Month. You guys will definitely see and or hear about all the different interviews. If you missed them, they'll be uploaded on YouTube. I'm gonna hopefully Thanks for scamming us. Anytime, just hit me up. Um, I'm gonna try to get all the interviews on Spotify and sort of go through the backlog of interviews that have yet to be uploaded on Spotify. Does it have registration? No, no. I should add that as an answer or as a question. Also, should add that there is no registration for the event. People have been asking that. Also add color to what? Where is it? Oh, here. Um, okay. Let me send you guys all to someone wholesome. What is the Spotify? It's linked in here. Let me link it here. It's linked in Welcome of OC University, but it's this one. Ta-da. Yep. Awesome. There's not that many actually. Oh, apparently only what? Apparently nerve control. Only nerve control week is here, and these. Okay, that's interesting. Oh my god. Okay, I need to dump everything on Spotify. Waiting for the Mighty Dog reaction. What? Okay, I'm gonna end stream before my brain explodes. Okay, y'all, who's streaming right now? Dean. Dean is live. What if I raid Peppy? He'll be like, "How was your stream?" Oh no, okay, I shouldn't raid him. Let's raid Fiery. Let's raid Fiery. Okay, you guys can all hang out on Fiery Raid stream. Raid Blue? Where's Blue? Is he even streaming? Okay, I'm raiding Fiery. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Peppy doesn't like raids. Okay, yeah, I think that aligns with something I feel like I've heard before. That's good to know. But yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you all soon. I'm starting to try. Actually, as a side note, I've been kind of fixing my sleep schedule and like structuring my days. Although it kind of broke today because I did this stream, but it's fine. But yeah, trying to build like daily streams up again. So that's exciting. If nothing else, this weekend I have United States Cup Grand Finals. You guys should all watch that. It's gonna be Sunday at 0 UTC, 23:59, 8 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. But I'll be streaming it live. You guys should just yep. You know the drill. Okay, yeah, whatever. See you guys. Thanks for watching.